Hey friends, how's it going? Today we're playing Sons of Saturn. First of all, thank you to the developer for a key to this game. It's their first game. It released end of November last year, so still fairly fresh. And it's a point-and-click style game that takes photos from real-life abandoned places and then turns them into kind of what you can see here. And we're going to get to try and explore those today. Maybe. Click. It's currently 13 Canadian on, thank you, on Steam. That was a double click, one on each side. It's currently...
The hitbox is too small.
Yes. The beard makes my hitbox small for some reason. It should make it larger. Never. So yeah, 13 Canadian, so that's probably like between 10 and 11 US. I always forget to look up the US equivalent. But yeah, we're gonna start into this. Hopefully we can get some sound, because I know this menu either didn't have sound. No.
Which
Okay, one sec. I can see that you guys aren't getting the background sound. I'll try to fix that. Does it need to be in focus? Maybe it needs to be in focus.
are we getting setting audio?
No, they're not. That's what I'm trying to fix. See, I don't even know my Twitch password. This is why I have a password manager. No, we're not getting audio. Great if this was still playing audio. No, I'm not going to export my password database for you. Alright, well, I'm going to have to read this. I didn't hear this voice come through, actually.
There isn't one, I don't think.
Let me see. No. Okay. Reset AI apostrophe.
You want
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there's audio.
There we go. Now there's audio. Okay, great. Then let's try that again. This sleep is restless and unending.
You have to do like a voice.
This sleep is restless and unending. Your mind is tossed about in a shallow tidal pool, slamming against barnacles and corals. Every sliver of exposed tissue is being pecked at by crabs and crocodiles. You must escape the sleep. Free yourself from this paralysis. No more free falls, no more jolts of denial. Wake up, the audience is getting antsy. I don't like this dude.
I don't like him either.
Actually, I can see that's really hard. Let's, can go crazy on that. Ooh, we can make it nice and colorful. Make it a little bit more colorful. There we go. Let's try that for a little bit. Not taking the bait, huh? I'll provide a small dose of external incentivization. Let's turn on the lights.
That's how you know they're not Canadian. If this was Canadian, this would say, not taking the bait, eh?
But they did spell incentivization with a Z, and I believe the Americans spell it with an S.
I don't think so. No.
Oh, we've got choices. Oh. Oh, we were the creepy thing. That checks out. Two.
Keep sulking in the moist, comfortable puddle you've carved out for yourself. Yes, incentivization is a word.
Maybe not with the S. That I'm not sure of.
Raise your head.
That's the spirit. Rip the band-aid off quickly. Stop letting those pests peck at you from the shadows and see your life for what it really is. There you go. No more running away. Oh, we've gotten 3 choices.
Why is the first one
White? I'm not
white?
sure. It's a question. Maybe if we click this, we get more, and then we come back to like this menu. You know, like when you're in like a Mass
Right.
Effect kind of thing. Let's try it. Yep, you really earned it. We earned it. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like if it's white, it's just extra stuff, and if it's orangey yellow, it progresses. Sure. That's the attitude you're going to adopt. Might as well just gouge your eyes out. Got no use for them. Plenty of sharp wooden fragments are scattered about the stage for you to choose from. Perhaps a member of the audience would even be so kind as to assist for a live demonstration. Before I gouge my own eyes out, there's something I need to know. Why? What are you? You're a human being. 160 centimeters, 60 kilograms, 26 years old, female and inexplicably muscular. The contours of your face are beautiful and sharp and hard. They cut.
I too would like to be inexplicably muscular.
My brain's like, okay, what's 160 in feet and inches? That'd be about what, 5'3", 5'4", approximately? No, why do we have like a sad baby face but with hair now? You want to be a tall, lanky, feminine? Borzy?
The bourgeois is the... Let me do it for you.
So do you want to be let me do it for you, Kermit? Or whatever, as long as we can beat the shit out of people with our face.
Oh. My face. Ooh, I want to be both.
Unfortunately, they're making us pick.
Okay, fine. I'll be the... Let me do it for you.
Well, that's not who you are, and you never will be. Why must you torture us with that fixation? I mean, I also don't like your shape either. That is very true. You don't like my shape? Trust me, you'd be nothing but a pile of convulsing tendons and tissues without me. Cyberpunk's taught you... See, I remember back when you had like the radial wheel, and you gotta pick from whatever it is, like kind, neutral, and antagonistic, and then like questions and specials are on the other side. Sure, you can get my opinion. It's about your Z80 that I know had issues and you need to rebuild. You're pathetic. You need me. Oh, it's the malformed lump. Me!
It's Kuchikopi.
After Kuchikopi gets, like, melted a little bit.
Now, this is if they had left Kuchikopi in the oven longer than they already did.
How big is the architecture difference? I love you. I need you. And you need me. Cool. We've got lots of questions. Do I have any Sure. You really dislike deep holes. The thought of falling into them terrifies you. You're safe down here, though. The scary part's already over. Do you have any exotic medical conditions, like scurvy? According to WebMD, yes. Nothing physical, but your brain has a few splinters embedded in it. Memory pulse offset instructions for specific 16-bit registers cannot interact with the base. So you have to remake all of your registers and have your, what did you do originally, 8-bit and then your 16-bit? If that's what you'd have to do, I guess my advice would be pick a simple one to make. I know you had a lot of registers. Pick like one, make it, and see if you hate it at the end, hate the process at the end, or if it's still enjoyable. No, you don't have scurvy. It's very difficult to contract scurvy. I had a girlfriend at one point. That means I'm cool, right? Didn't manage to keep her for very long. But yes, that does mean you're above the very bottom of the barrel, social ladder-wise. They did have the wrong EOR, though. Congratulations on not being more than 2 standard deviations below mean on something. I love knowing my psychosocial identity. It's the very first thing I ask when I wake up from a coma.
What is your psychosocial identity?
Apparently, we are afraid of deep holes. We had a girlfriend, so we're not total dweebs.
Being a dweeb is cool.
That's what the dweebs say.
I am admittedly also a dweeb, so...
What was the other one? Our brain has splinters, but we don't have scurvy. That's apparently us.
Alright.
You direct value stored to the B register to a location addressed by IX plus offset, but there's no way to pass data between B and IX. Oh, so you need like a translation intermediary kind of deal. Where am I? Hell. Okay, thank you. I'm glad this is game over. Like, we're in hell already. Just kidding. You're not really in hell. You're not really in a theater either. You're actually taking a nap in a wastewater tunnel. Flat on your back, right below an open maintenance access shaft. As Robert pointed out, this is what you would see. Yes, why are we taking a nap in a sewer? Great question. You're in a sewer because it's the only way to reach your goal, Minerva. The underground city you were born in, the ruin you fled from. You're taking a nap in the sewer because you're exhausted. Got a bit ahead of your guide, the ferryman, who's really dragging his feet. Apparently you can take a train from Minerva to the surface. The trestles, the train lines, were imploded before the evacuation was even complete. Not exploded, they imploded. Okay. None of those lines will take you to Minerva anymore. You can't even walk them on foot. Several other portals and passages used to exist, but they're now heavily guarded. Only a select few personnel are allowed through. Thankfully, the wastewater and ventilation systems were far too intricate to fully seal. Hundreds of outfalls still exist, only minimally secured. So, sewer it is, then. Do we want to go back? Do we want to leave the sewer, or keep going to wherever underground Minerva is?
Let's go back. Second option.
We can't ignore splinters. We have to dig it out. So dying of infection isn't an option? It is an option, actually. Still on the table. Mother, you mean the woman you left behind in your escape? Hopefully she doesn't hold that against you. I wonder if you could add extra complexity and store values of x, of ix and b, and memory locations to pass between the two. I mean, how slow is incredibly slow, and I guess what's the highest performing thing you would want to do? There you go. You now have a solution. Hello, Alyssa, how's it going? I mean, other than the strings floating above you, the knots that lead you back here? In any case, I feel you've established the basics. You're a healthy human being, slightly past its prime. Geez, 26?
26 is slightly
oh,
past
geez,
your
we're
prime.
old then.
I must be, like, disintegrating then.
We're like from when the dinosaurs existed, right?
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah. But we have all our digits, so that's nice. I'm doing alright. Ready for not working. Your purpose right now is finding out what happened to your mother after you ran away and left her behind. Any questions? Go ahead, shoot.
Hi, Alyssa.
3 clock cycles. Decoding takes an extra 4. So about 30 cycles. Does the the Z80 assume a 1 gigahertz processor? Four megahertz, great, wonderful. Which I assume means no concurrency. That you can't have, you have one command that executes all the way through the pipe. Unfortunately, I've not gotten anything lower than a 1 gigahertz processor. What happened to my mom? I haven't seen her. Why do I care? Wouldn't it be weird if you didn't care? Alright, even if it wasn't weird, life is presenting you with material reasons to care. Your mother left behind a pretty sizable estate above ground, enough for you to retire on should you inherit it. That was the only thing you were able to take with you during your escape. No ID, no birth certificate, no friends, no pets. Only me. What are you? Not for my weird
He's
pets.
Kuchikopi.
Yeah. But Kuchikopi is apparently neither a friend nor a pet.
Because he's not a friend nor a pet.
Never been able to prove to the state that you are the rightful heir to those assets. They're just sitting there, rotting. They won't rot for much longer, though. When your year mark is up, the state will unfreeze our assets and take everything. You get nothing, like always. Do you care now? Any of this ringing a bell? Yes. Whatever you say now, she's the reason he came back. Months of saving, years of preparation, a lifetime of unease, all for her. Something I remember you mentioning about a dead cat. I knew that would get your attention. No one has all the details, but most suspect that some experiments during the Saturn core went sideways. Dangerous phenomena started occurring all over the city. Mass psychosis, hallucinations, the boundaries between adjacent people breaking down, psychological merges, everyone's deepest brain nuggets started to fry. Hardly anyone near the core made it out. You did were horribly broken, their minds shattered. Many of them also came down with cancer. They're the only ones who really know what happened, and they aren't speaking. Luckily, you've already been relegated to a boarding school on the periphery of the city by then.
This isn't...
It eventually gets to a point where you can like click around areas.
Okay, but I was gonna say, this isn't like a... What do you call it? Like a Chernobyl allegory is it? I didn't read anything about this game, so.
I didn't see anything about that.
Okay.
It was a little fried. Everyone's was a little fried. Compared to most, you got pretty lucky. You don't have cancer, do you? You weren't shoved in a closet of the psych hospital with a feeding tube running down your throat, are you? Or they sometimes remove the teeth to make it easier. The thing you have to deal with is me. The girls' industrial school took us in after the evacuation, remember? They taught us how to weld, how to nail boards together, how to slap harder than the people slapping you. Since then, you've bounced around doing odd jobs, mostly involving physical labor. It's been pretty rocky, neither of us can deny. Being friends has been tough. A lot of people we met find us a little spiky. Okay, and who are you? Me? My name is Jasper. The vintage plush cat doll you've been hiding in your shirt pocket for the last 2 decades. Oh, it's like fried. Forget me? Don't you remember? I can't believe I got my hands on a vintage plush Helga brand machine washable cat toy. You're very fortunate. I was actually worth quite a bit of money before you rubbed chip dust and snot all over me. But it isn't your fault I was left in the care of a toddler. Okay, we have a name. It's Emily. For the most part, though, I suppose our ferryman guide once mentioned...
Amelie.
Amelie? Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Amelie. Okay. T-posing. We hired him through a broker to help us navigate this place. Don't worry, he won't come between us, not you and me. Does he have a name? Presumably, but he hasn't opted to share it yet, and even neglected to ask. We've known each other's company long enough that it's kind of awkward at this point. We'll just call him the ferryman to play it safe. He looks hairy and odd. I hate him. Look, there aren't a lot of supermodels in the illicit sewer human trafficking business, alright? There aren't a lot of supermodels among the clientele either, I might add. Honestly, you know, the scruff is actually kind of handsome. Someone like you could do a lot worse. Someone like you has done a lot worse. Fortunately, I think we do need him. He helped get past the guards securing the perimeter. We never would have gotten past the cameras unnoticed without him. The layout of the city is literally Byzantine. It's nice to have someone who knows their way around. Like it or not, we need him. Don't worry, he comes across as pretty malleable. Literally, he's pretty stretchy. Pretty crack team, right? Though it's got a bit of debt weight on it. I think the troglodyte and the doll have got most of this covered. I think it's about time you woke up. Come on, better off her from that bandage quickly. Let's get this over with. Her arms and legs take a little longer to wake up. Just try not to panic this time, okay? You find yourself flat on your back, staring up an access tube that leads to the ground above.
Oh, we're actually in the sewer.
Yes. Muscle control hasn't returned yet to most of your body, but you managed to break the crusty seal incarcerating your eyes. The light pours into your irises, as if concentrated by a funnel. This is the first time you've seen light in nearly 6 hours. You thought the light would be soothing, freeing to soak in, but it's not. Instead, you feel like a man on a life raft, dying of thirst. You lay flat, drops of water occasionally miss your forehead. Feels like water torture. You feel more like 8, but yes, it's 10 in the morning. You entered the tunnels outside Minerva just after 4. It's any consolation, this means you've been moving at a pretty steady clip. 10 miles in 6 hours is respectable time by sewer speed standards. Until the ferryman catches up to us. We weren't that far ahead of him, but he did seem pretty out of breath. Or until we reach the end of the sewer and finally find our way into the infirmary? I don't know that either, but probably not too long. No, I meant how much longer until you get off my chest and let me move, you rancid night hag? Hey, it isn't my fault you're glued to a sewer bed. Though the pressure in your chest is my fault. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that situation won't get any more complicated than that. Tunnels will take you straight to the infirmary, right at the edge of the underground city. You'll pop out an indoor manhole cover, with a nicely formatted document explaining what happened to your mom on a desk nearby, and then escape the same way you got in. You're right, I am being facetious. This won't be so simple. You don't know where your mom was the day things collapsed. You're not even sure where to start looking. So I had to hire the ferryman. Speaking of, what's that noise? Oh, hi, Mr. Ferryman. I don't like that you're upside down. Is everything all right, miss? Apologies for falling behind. Not as fit as I was when I first became a ferryman. To keep up with someone as athletic as yourself. Also, I knew it'd be fine if you got a bit ahead. The maze is behind us. It's a straight shot from here to the infirmary. Let's not stay in the sewer. Yes, let's. The water levels will rise before too long. They're usually pretty high by midday. We now action stand up. I don't like that at all. You rise your feet a little too quickly, allowing black dots to colonize your visual field. Words of your ferryman guide echo down the drain as light from his red headlamp stains the wall. The entrance to the administrative ward is just up ahead. Follow me. Will there be sunlight? Sort of, actually. The infirmary chief architect designed the maternity ward to emit an abundance of replica natural lighting from the illuminated dome. I believe such a design would mitigate the effects of postpartum depression. See, you never needed this shaft. Ferryman nods his head sharply in agreement. It's time to get a move on. Ready to get this show started? Yes, no, or stop pretending that it matters. It's insulting.
I'm inclined to do a third one, but I don't know what effect these choices have.
I have no idea either. I don't even know if this is multiple endings. Being a bad sport about it doesn't ease the pain at all. Ferryman does a quick turn and begins to slip further down the cavern. Reluctantly, mechanically, senselessly, begin to follow. Okay, here's the actual point and click. So we've got our little map up here.
Our inventory item and then forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and it auto turns us. So we went around a curve, but we didn't have to turn it.
Okay.
Oh, and we can navigate there as well into the arrows. You look up to see your ferryman guide quickly ascending the cistern ladder. The top is a small hatch. The hatch has a small aperture cut out of the left side, allowing the pale fire of light to pour through. You hear the faint sound of metal grating against metal. He's opening the lock, securing the hatch at the top. His voice reverberates as it echoes down the cylinder. As soon as I open this hatch, I need to clamber up the ladder as quickly as possible. I won't be able to keep it open for long. Ready? I've changed my mind. No, I don't think we want to go another 8 hours back through the muck. 37 cycles. But you don't think your solution will work? Words come out of you as if directed by a puppeteer. Ferryman guide opens the hatch and climbs through. Quickly follow, pulling yourself through the portal at the top. Careful, stand clear. He lets down the hatch, from which you emerge very deliberately, so to avoid making much noise. Operations, yes, but on cadavers, not living people. This is an autopsy table. We're in the hospital's mortuary. Take a peek through the door frame to your left to see the coolers. So to remind you, these are all pictures of what they said are real-world abandoned places. So these all actually exist somewhere. You peek around the corner and greeted by an enormous 18-body morgue. The apparatus appears mostly intact, but a few of the doors have been wrestled from their hinges. A faint whiff of formaldehyde still clings to the air. Most of the deaths came from the maternity ward. Back when the maternity ward was active, death during childbirth was pretty common. Nerve medics were top of the line, certainly. They're still constrained by the limited medical knowledge available to them. Well, I suppose medical science has come a long way in the last half-century. Where do we go from here? That's for you to decide, actually. Nerva usually responds more mercifully when the client takes the lead. Honestly, less of a guide, more of a Sherpa. That said, I do have a few suggestions. You're here looking for your mom, correct? Well, we're in the basement of the administrative ward. There are lots of offices full of scattered documents, so maybe we're pouring through them. There's a flight of stairs right behind the door behind you. It'll take you right up. I'm honestly not sure, Samus. Is only one way to find out, I guess. I'll provide suggestions and let you know where we should search, but ultimately you should take the reins. It's a little more smoothly that way, trust me. Also, I don't actually know my way around the maternity ward all that well. Just compared to the underground networks, I've memorized the layout and know how to navigate, but I usually don't spend much time here. The maternity ward is a transitional area in most excursions, a place most clients seem to pass through to reach the residential districts, not a place I typically linger. To be honest, we aren't likely to find exactly what you're looking for here. Probably gonna need to pay a visit to Operations Ward or perhaps the Chronic Ward to find exactly what you're looking for. We'll probably find enough info here to better narrow down our search. Hopefully after we're done, we'll know which section of the city to focus our efforts on reaching. We won't be able to canvass the whole region, of course. Mention your mom, Rosalind, often made professional visits to this hospital, correct? This might go a lot more smoothly if we had any idea where she spent most of her time or who she interacted with while she was here. She really communicated nothing about her visits? Nope, nothing. I just had that kind of relationship. That kind of lack of relationship. Alright, well this hospital's huge, and we'll never be able to canvass the entirety of it. Let's focus our efforts on searching the administrative ward, where we're most likely to find clues. Okay.
Directions. I'll read it.
Oh, like... This would take me... Okay. Good find. This notebook probably belonged to one of the accountants that worked in the administrative wing. You glean a few things about what went on here by flipping through it. Ooh, that's great to read. It's a mood diary.
Feel bad. Difficulty getting up in the morning. Unappetized at lunch, foggy in the afternoon, strong undercurrent of malaise all day. I would have written the same on days -14 to 0 if I started this earlier. Getting promoted to the maternity ward. What an infuriating euphemism. The pay is the same, the work is ever less important, and I'm surrounded by screaming newborns. I hate children. Famously, sending me here was a sick joke. Perhaps if I'm as obnoxious in this position in the last, I can get promoted out of here yet again. Oh,
It seems as though Vera didn't want to be transferred here. Entry 2.
Forgot to fill this in for the last few days, but that's okay, because they wouldn't look any different from my first entry. The accounting here is hellishly monotonous. Do you have any clue how hard it is to bore someone passionate about accounting? Within the Saturn core, I felt like I was actually making an impact. I guess Rosalind was so thrilled I blew the whistle that she decided I could make an even bigger impact here, making sure no screaming newborns double dip in the hospital account. The only things to keep track of are the medicine consumption tabulations and the infant sickness rates and correlations. Sometimes more than one gets hepatitis and there's a link. Sometimes someone on night shift decides to dip into the medical supply closets. Petty discrepancies. It's not much, but it's all I've got to work with.
Hey, Rosalind is your mom's name, right? Yes, it is. Think we got a match? There are all the many Rosalinds worked at the Saturn core. She was in charge of staff rotations and transfers. It's definitely a match. I see. In that case, we should definitely keep reading. What's this? It seems the rest of the pages have been ripped out. I wonder why. Let's keep an eye out for the remaining pages to explore the rest of the accounting block. I'm going to clean a little more information about Rosalind if we happen across them. We need to find those pages. You've got to sniff around like a pig hunting for truffles. Let's go. It's the same thing. So back out. Oh, apparently that was the only one we could go into. Okay, an antique typewriter. Details of the room are relatively ornate. This office most likely belonged to someone high up. On searching the desk, you discover a neatly stacked set of withered telegram cards, layered in order of their delivery and reception. The hell were you thinking? Stop. Why send Vera to this department? Snooping knows where it does not belong. Stop. Potentially disastrous.
No. Even worse in Saturn core. Stop. No matter how bad you think you have it, she was much higher risk here.
I love that we're reading stop, even though that's supposed to be like the period and like the... Vera, sounds as though they're discussing the woman who authored the diary we found earlier. Why not terminate her? Stop. Not safe in any bureau. Stop. Too nosy notices. Discrepancies like Hawk. Stop. Why us?
Vera, extremely productive, judged by quantitative metrics and family well connected with... How much was it to send this telegraph? Family well connected with admin. Stop. Termination would be optical disaster from many angles. Stop. Order came straight from Rosalind.
There it is again, that chill. Rosalind, there it is again, that name. Think they're referring to your mom? Send bean counter somewhere she can't do much damage. Stop. Relegate to theater department or food product bureau. Stop. She finds out too much for both of us. Much bad for both of us.
Transfer needed. Plausible explanation as promotion. Stop. They're extremely competent, unfortunately. Stop. Even tried giving bad assignments to justify demotion before resorting to promotion. Stop. I am sorry.
You are useless. Interesting exchange. Doesn't tell us much about your mom other than that she didn't want Vera hanging around the Saturn core. Probably just keep looking for the rest of the Vera notes. They might prove more illuminating. Why so terrified of Vera? Makes you wonder what they were trying to hide. Yeah, I don't know. Couldn't be anything too nefarious if they were willing to just leave telegrams like this in unsecured office drawers. If it was something serious, they'd be more cautious. He seems eager to move on from this train of thought. I encourage indulging him. Okay. I like this porch. It's nice and airy. Yes, it's nice. Administrative staff used to come here to relax and smoke. You ever hang out here? No, tunnel rats weren't allowed in places like this. So we can advance. Why are all these chairs lined up like this? Nothing else here. There used to be an entertainment table they all faced. It went missing a few years ago. Entertainment table for card games and such? Sounds fun. What happened to it? Honestly, someone probably dragged it up to the roof so they could just throw it off. Peer into the cavity of the trash chute on the right side of the room. Little light escapes from inside. The aperture emits an unpleasant, sulfuric odor.
I don't like this audio.
I think that's the point. Layers of detritus and sludge strewn about the interior make details difficult to distinguish. Despite this, you notice a pair of loose-leaf papers stuck to the back of the receptacle. Stick your hand in there. Do it. You reach into the tube. Your arm is quickly enveloped by an unknown mossy texture. And we make this face. Ugh. You aimlessly grope through the sludge until you arrive at a relatively crunchy texture, 2 loose sheets of paper. You free the papers from the slimy receptacle and remove your arm. See? These are the next 2 diary entries. Oh yeah, you did find. Wondering why you stuck your hand in there. What are they doing here, I wonder? Why would Vera rip them out and throw them into the trash chute? I don't think Vera was the one to rip them out. I was waiting for just some sludge.
I actually found something fascinating today. The first break in the monotony since my transfer. While looking through records pertaining to the hospital's infant mortality rate, I noticed that incidents of stillbirth in the maternity ward are almost never isolated. As in, there is never only one stillbirth on any given day. Always there are 2 or 3, sometimes more, than 0 for weeks or months. That's pretty strong evidence of malpractice by 1 or more employees. I'm trying to isolate any obvious common denominators between the stillbirth cases. Perhaps they can be tied to someone's shift in the maternity ward. Oh yeah, mood a little better.
Nothing about Rosalind yet.
I noticed a pattern when looking at the nurses' timesheets. Stillbirth tends to occur only when 1 of 4 or 5 nurses are on shift. Currently trying to sniff out any commonalities amongst those nurses. Furthermore, I've noticed the clusters of infant stillbirths nearly always coincide with an anomalous drop in the amount of ergot and datura reported in the medicinal supply cabinet. Medicinal stocks are only recorded weekly, so the correlation is rather coarse, and I cannot be sure, though it is an intriguing lead nonetheless. I've requested my office to be moved to the maternity ward up on the 2nd floor. You probably think I'm nuts since the offices on that floor are so much smaller, but I need my eyes and ears there if I'm to figure this out.
Looks like that's all there is here. Maybe we'll find more answers if we can find our office in the maternity ward. Andorra was the center for a lot of groundbreaking medical research prior to its abandonment. Apparently these are types of medicines or something.
I've heard of ergot. I don't know about her, but ergot poisoning is used in a lot of to explain away mass hallucinations. Ergot poisoning is I've seen it in a lot of horror novels, horror media of everyone's freaking out over something. It's something that was used as maybe a theory back then of why people, like, any mass hysteria cases that went unresolved. It was like, oh, it's ergot poisoning.
As such, a pretty wide variety of exotic medicinal chemicals were kept in stock. Anyone with even slim medical credentials could get their hands on some pretty esoteric stuff without too many questions being asked. Hello, Beardy, how's it going? In fact, the team working in this very hospital is credited with discovering the ergot that could be used to treat migraines. I recall hearing that they had some luck using it to treat dandruff. I'd rather deal with dandruff than regularly ingesting nightshade. True, finding the rest might still prove worthwhile, however. Sound of things, there was digging into something pretty shady going on around here. If it doesn't pertain directly to Rosalind, we might be better off figuring out what it is. Yeah, this guy seems like he knows more than letting on. Yeah, this stuff, it's all adult stuff. I always try not to worry about it too much. Like I said, I don't spend too much time in the hospital other than passing through. Adult stuff, he said, at least in his early 30s. That said, it seems like likely enough that whatever was going on here is connected to Rosalind somehow, given that she was in charge of some of the staff transfers. I suggest we keep digging. Okay, where to next? The medical supply closets referred to in this diary entries are right below us in the sub-basement. Those are probably worth investigating. Get there by taking the stairwell at the end of the hall. Okay. So.
Probably trigger one.
Yes. This probably should. Why is this door bricked up? But there's something good on the other side. Actually, I don't know if there's anything on the other side at all. But the window doesn't lead anywhere. This place just has random doors nowhere. I think this used to lead somewhere, but this building is partially demolished and tended to dozens of times. Weird little artifacts like this are the result. We've just done a loop, it looks like. Yeah. Okay, so the sub-basement. We want to go down. Come to a stop after exiting the stairwell. You hear something. Some horrible, captivating racket is escaping from a room on the right side of the hallway. Focus your hearing. Though heavily distorted, you clearly recognize the source, a woman crying. Shh. Guide aggressively hushes you before you can finish. He appears calm, but his gaze and tense stance betray intense tension. Stay here, I'll investigate. Guide slinks up to the door without making a sound. He moves like a cat. Peers around the corner of the door frame. Taking a look, the ferryman rounds the corner and enters the room. Several moments pass in silence. Say something. Before the words have a chance to escape, you hear the door slam shut. You instinctively run up to the door and peer through the grate. The ferryman is staring back at you. Well, not on its own exactly. In a way that marionettes don't move on their own. Have you heard of the sort of incidents infiltrators sometimes report near the Saturn core? Broker must have mentioned them in the introductory sermon he gives to all his clients. They probably didn't go into much detail. Every minute with him is metered. They are not hallucinations. Just saw this door slam shut. There's no trick. Feel it. Grabs the door and gives it a good shake, as if encouraging you to do the same. is unusually forceful. This room is an old isolation cell, so it should lock and unlock from the outside, yet I'm willing to bet you won't find any means of opening it. Minerva has decided it should remain shut. This is the administration building. Why are there isolation cells in its basement? This building wasn't always administrative. It originally served as a sanatorium for cradle residents who are in need of secluded recovery. That's why it's located here along the southern periphery on the bank of the river. Sometimes the patients here need to be secluded from others for safety and disciplinary reasons, so cells such as these are often needed. I guess that explains the basement morgue. Grab the exterior handle and shake the door, but nothing gives. The barrier refuses to move even a millimeter. Examine the locking mechanism. The exposed keyhole moderates the extension or retraction of the bolt that restrains the right-hand side of the door. Peer into the crevice separating the door from the frame. The gap is wide enough for you to see. No bolts are extended. The door is unlocked. The door isn't locked. It's completely sealed. Parts of the city sometimes come to life, confusing and disorienting those who breach its envelope. This isn't a simple locked door. It's a trap, one I fell for. Remember the crying woman? That bait, to lure one or both of us into the cell. Look around, not a soul in sight. Once I'd slid in, the door sealed right behind me. Really, I should have known better than to fall for a trick like this. Can't bring myself to leave sounds like that uninvestigated. Countering resistance this early on is unusual, miss. You have some history here with this building I should know about? He's talking too much. Do something. Plant your left foot with firm force. It comes tightly fixed in place as if stuck in concrete. Without thought, your left glute tightens and your core tenses up. Raise your right foot and tuck it in like a cobra ready to strike. The moment of action arrives and your right foot springs forward like a head springing from a jack-in-the-box. First contact is made, and a ripple shoots through your leg and into your pelvis, dissipating before making it to your torso and left thigh. Force was completely reflected by the door. Ma'am, that's not going to do anything. Yes, ow, Minerva doesn't respond to blunt force trauma like that. That sucks. Blunt force trauma is my specialty. Indeed, you appear to have an impressive physique. I was strong like you when I was younger. When I was younger, he can't be much older than you. That's besides the point. A wrecking ball careening at full speed wouldn't so much as dent this door. No way around it. This door's staying closed. We can kick it again, but no. Don't worry, I have a plan for getting out of here. I don't like his face, just like staring back at us. Shift managers used to call me Wiggly. I didn't like it very much at first, but the nickname stuck for a reason. I'm skinny and flexible. Even the tightest conduits...
Interstitial.
Interstitial, there's a word I've never seen or heard before. Spaces aren't a challenge for me. And so between... what is stitial? Between...
Spaces.
Oh, okay. The spaces between spaces.
We use that term in tech and design when we want to navigate. When you're bringing someone from one web page to another, the thing, like a pop-up or whatever, they're called interstitial screens.
Oh, interesting. Utility tunnels that weave underneath Minerva. They're too narrow and contorted for most people to fit through. That's why they had to employ very young people, see? I'm flexible and skinny and wiggly enough to get through them without much issue, even now. I remember a path through the pipes that should spit me out at the back of the maternity wards. We'll link up back there.
What?
Yes, you're in an isolation cell. How will you get into the utility network? See that waste chute in the corner? I'll climb up that. Through that, I'll find a connection to the steam transport layer, which runs through the operational sections of the infirmary. Several portals opening up into the maternity ward. We can reconvene there in the rooms at the end of the hallway. Please. Chute's wide enough to route a trolley through. I'm sure I'll get through just fine. Honestly, the only conduits I have trouble with are the pneumatic transport lines. I can even get through some of those. Were you one of the children tasked with maintaining the steam tunnels? Yes, along with the telegrammatic communication tunnels. I spent shifts in the sewer, drainage, and transit systems as well, though less frequently. I love it down there. Honestly, I don't feel comfortable anywhere else. Yeah, I had to keep them running. It's not weird to you? Nope. Well, I mean, this is all I've ever known, really. That's why I like working with clients like you, people who've lived outside. I enjoy hearing the world outside Minerva, learning what people's lives are like. Yes, I was orphaned. There was never a fork in the road, getting upset or angry, but my lot doesn't seem likely to change much. Although what if happens, I'd be upset and no one would notice. No, they really didn't. I was orphaned at an early age. Early enough that I don't remember my parents. I'm lucky to have any life whatsoever. I'm doubly lucky to have landed an occupation that taught me a few useful skills. Really, the Saturn technicians did me a huge favor by taking me in. They were the only reason I'm employed even today. If I weren't so familiar with the Saturn tunnel networks, I wouldn't have found work as a ferryman. Okay, what if I run into more traps? Might have a few more doors slam in your face, other than that I wouldn't worry too much. Still in the southmost periphery of the city, far from the Saturn core, so the reverb activity should still be weak. But as I said, the fact we're seeing phenomena at all at the stage is alarming, so stay on your toes. Would you mind if I started calling you Wiggly? Not at all. It's the only name I've ever gone by.
I like how the name changed from Ferryman to Wiggly.
In fact, I wouldn't even know my legal name if I didn't once stumble across some tunnel maintenance shift scheduling ledgers in the administrative district. Paul Lohman. The name never meant anything to me. It's a little stuffy for my taste. I mean, Wiggly is literally an apt adjective for describing me, Hard to get more fitting than that. Anyhow, we should get going. We'll head into the tunnels, like I said. We'll reconvene in the maternity ward. You'll have to navigate there on your own. Just go up the stairs, down the hallway, take a left. You'll find an entrance there that should be unlocked. There's an old operation room at the very end of the serial corridors that should be easy to find. Just keep walking forward and straight when you get up there, basically. That room is a small vent that connects to the Steam network. I'll meet you there. It's funny. To me, that's the way you look. Okay, we'll see you later. Wiggly nods as a heel turn disappears down the chute, sliding down it with a speed you'd never expect. See how fast he wiggled through there? Like he's covered in a layer of motor oil. Anyway, we're on our own now. Let's head to the maternity ward. I wonder if we can actually, get stuck. Also, okay, the door is open, but we can't actually go there anymore. What? The door was sealed shut just a few seconds ago. Of course, only reopened now that my guide is long gone.
I thought you were going to switch over
to him.
Yeah.
Looks like a poster for some weird old ballet. The main actress's head looks weird, like it was plastered on. Odd place to advertise this stuff. I guess they put on musicals for the patients? Oh, that was an achievement. Find the poster. I guess up we go. And back where we started. I guess we go up this time. I know he said to keep going straight, but there's been some sort of patient porch. The lighting is bright and the patterns are beautiful, but I feel like I'm in a cage. I think that is by design. Looks like some sort of linen washing facility. Not sure what's in the administrative wing. You encounter a frail, frizzy-haired woman, doggedly scrubbing her hands. Her eyes appear slightly sunken, obvious tell of her intense fatigue. Glares at you intensely. Her expression reveals her view of you painfully clearly. You are an intrusion, a foreign body. Who is this? There shouldn't be anyone else here. Let's carefully introduce ourselves. Be prepared to run if you sense a threat. The woman rises from the pail to address you. Excuse me, miss, you shouldn't be here. You should have checked in at the front desk. Every patient should before being allowed past the foyer. I know some of our services are more discreet in nature, but we still need to go through the proper channels and have you signed in.
Wait, this place is still...
I think she's like she's living in the past, or it's still running.
Okay.
That was my interpretation, at least. How did you even get here? You should have made it past the front desk without security being alerted. Why does she care which entrance we came through? This place has been abandoned for 20 years. Well, miss, I really need to know. I did come in past the front desk. No, you didn't. I would have gotten a few alert taps through the telecomatical lines and prepared to meet in the inspection room instead of here. I don't typically introduce myself to patients while wearing washing-stained rags. For what it's worth, those rags look pretty clean. In any case, we've really got to get you signed in. Should have been primed on how to enter discreetly. Follow me to the front desk. We'll quietly get you recorded and we can move into the maternity ward. My name is Julia. I've been a midwife at the infirmary for 9 years. You're in good hands. Julia's presence is strange and unnatural. Her cadence and gestures seem disconnected from the present scene. The sublingual signals she's sending you via gesticulations and body language are distorted and inscrutable, as if transmitted through a television set overcome with static. Look, I expect you have some anxieties going into this, but we really cannot discuss them here. We'll talk about it in private later, after sign-in. She expects us to know what she's talking about, so just go along with it for now. I don't think anything will help by telling her, like, it's an abandoned ward. I have to take you to the maternity ward, miss. That's where you were supposed to sign in. Why did you come through the administrative wing? You shouldn't be here at all. That's absurd. The maternity ward's only been in operation for 19 years. You look a little older than that to me. See? You look old. I'm telling you to wear more sunblock and smoke less, but you won't listen. Probably thinks you're ugly, too. Do you want to cut it out, or I'm not ugly, you're ugly?
I'm not ugly, you're ugly.
I'm sorry, miss. Zip it, we'll hash this out later. Look, something's obviously wrong with Julia. She seems to think the hospital's still operational. But if you just go along with her for now, maybe she'll actually get us to the maternity ward. She acts like she knows her way around, at least. Julia wrings the last drop of water off her hands. She suddenly turns to face the doorframe, motioning for you to follow her. We're going to ignore the blood back there, and Julia's now in our party. That's, not great. Oh, I bet you that door was locked and we needed her to open it for us.
Whoa.
What's up with this dome? Oh, this is just the main lobby. Patients enter through here. Someone comes to greet them and show them the front desk. At least, that's what they're supposed to do. Before you lies a small stage, a rotten piano, imploded in on itself, sits atop, resting beneath a shattered engraving of women waving torches. So the deal with the auditorium seems a little out of place. She's not listening. No, I don't. Liar. We should keep moving. You still need to sign in at the front desk. Can't go into either. Okay, so if it's not something we can potentially look at it, but it won't let us go in.
Look at it.
Look at it. Oh, this is the thing from the main menu. You approach a small overlook. Fresh breeze pours through the open windows. Please, miss, let's not linger here. I hate this room.
Don't like fresh air and sunlight?
I mean, you'd rather go back to the moldy, claustrophobic hallway? That sounds better to me. Miss, there's nothing fresh about the air. Now that she's mentioned it, there's a bit of rot in the air. You're gonna make me say it.
Oh, don't tell me.
Sick babies, and we've exhausted treatment for it. This is where we leave them.
Okay, that's where I thought this was going.
Right here in this crib. We tell the parents there's nothing else we can do. They still have a chance if they get some sunlight and fresh air. We know it's not going to work. I tell the mom and dad. I think the mom and dad usually know too. But we keep bringing babies here all the same. I keep bringing babies here. They always make me do it. Someone has to do the dirty work, miss. If I don't, no one will. Rather not ask about how many dead babies she's had to work with. And always.
Yeah, I think this requires a trigger warning for dead babies.
Yep, for sure. Used to make the newest nurse take on the responsibility, but I didn't want to go into it, but I'm very much indebted to some of the higher staff here. A lot of tougher work falling on me for a while. Life isn't fair, miss. I've made peace with that, and I suggest you do the same. I don't know what that says about this game. Their start menu is a place where the sick babies go to die.
Foreshadowing?
This is the front desk. This is where you should have gone as soon as you got here. Remember that in the future. Julie approaches the octagonal station before you, gazes directly into the cavity behind the central pane. Her eyes light up. She begins to converse with someone. This young lady is in need of secondary services. Just let me fill out her forms for her. We're in something of a hurry.
She's not actually talking to someone, right?
I don't think so, because it's just like a pause and we don't hear anything. Yes, I know she'll need to provide the closing signature, but I can perform the rest. This hospital hasn't been in operation for over a decade. Who's she talking to? I forgot to ask. What's your name, miss?
Don't give your name.
She glanced at you a little suspiciously, but decides not to pursue her intuitions no further. Alright, I'll jot that in. No, she isn't really here for any non-secondary procedures. Got her down for something non-invasive, ingrown toenail removal. Go with that as the official malady. Seems you need an official reason to be here. Whatever Julia's planned for you isn't suitable. She's taken to slandering the virility of your healthy, perfectly formed toes, just so she can have an official reason to sign you in. If my toes are immaculate, or remain silent and take the blow to your ego. We just not argue with the lady, arguing with nothing. Julie seems to appreciate your cooperation, but your toes wail in vain, narcissistic agony. Alright, we just need your signature and we'll be set. Julie motions for you to come to the pane. You approach the counter. You approach, keeping your focus fixed on the document prostrated out on the counter. You scan the document for suspicious clauses. You start feeling something's off. Something amiss. You sense something in your periphery. You glance up. No one is behind the counter. Nothing fills the cavity but a vacuum, along with an ether of dust and insulated particles circulating about the air. This fort has been shuttered for decades. There never was anyone at the front desk. Julia imagined the entire encounter. Julia awaits behind you, expectantly hovering. Shakily sign your name. Let's just go with this for now. We don't have much choice. Julia pushes the signed document forward towards Valeri. Thank you for cooperating. I know this procedure probably seemed excessively elaborate, but take proper precautions in the document your visit. You're subject to very intense scrutiny by a number of Saturn accountants.
Do you mean Valerie?
Valerie? Sure.
Is that the person she's talking
Yes.
to, quote unquote?
Yeah. Julia makes a quick gesture to the vacuous. Okay. Entity behind the glass and pivots to the right. She expects you to follow her
So she
lead.
just, whipped out this form.
Or that form had been sitting there for a decade.
Right?
Another death crib? No, miss. This is where we would set up patients suffering from chronic lung diseases. Not everything that happens here is so ghastly. This is a place of healing, after all. Saw something. Just this.
This game doesn't have jump scares, does it?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, there hasn't been one so far, so...
Yeah. This way, miss, we need to perform a quick inspection before proceeding. Julia motions to the doorway on the right. Which parts of my body need inspecting? I just checked. They're all working fine. I can't just take your word for that, miss. I need to confirm for myself. She doesn't trust you. Just a few quick scans to make sure we don't have any underlying health problems. We want to avoid any complications during the operation, you see. Now, right this way.
Operation?
Yes.
What operation?
For our ingrown toenail, don't you know?
Oh.
I don't know.
That's considered an operation?
No. You enter a small, poorly lit room. In the center is a small gurney, flanked by antiquated medical equipment, all of it covered in a thick layer of grime. Please, miss, lie down on the table. I just need to get a few physical readings, preliminary scans. Yeah, insufficiently sterilized. I'm a professional, miss, so are my colleagues. Do you think so little of us that you suggest we are using unsanitized equipment? We are a little short-staffed right now, true, but all the important equipment has been thoroughly sterilized. Just cut the bullshit, you don't care. We get through a sewer on the way here. Stop pretending to be anything other than vile and lay down the asbestos-caked gurney. I like my envelopes unbreached and intact. No, miss, this won't require anything invasive. I just need to perform a few quick inspections to ensure that you don't have any underlying health issues before moving forward. No need to be apprehensive, miss. This won't take long. Said it will only be a few quick inspections. Lay down reluctantly, lay down apprehensively. I feel like I would still be a bit apprehensive. You lay flat on your back atop the dust-covered gurney. The ceiling above is decorated with an intricate mold pattern, product of decades of water damage. It is beautiful. These little clouds here, and then Goku's coming on it. I don't know, like the Dragon Balls are all here. It's nice. A set of surgical lights illuminate your features from the left side. You feel like a museum piece. Oh gosh, I do not like this, like, under chin view. Let's start by taking your blood pressure. Julie slips a small band around your left bicep. Fingers run along your forearm and elbow as they drag the band up. Wait. Okay. This feels more like she's gonna, like, take blood or insert a syringe. I don't like that. Okay. After the band is in place, she gently lifts up her fingers and turns on one of the machines. You hear a slight whir, pressure begins accumulating in your bicep. Okay. How old are you, miss? Your blood pressure should be a little bit higher than it should be at your age. Or is a little bit higher. Still within tolerances, I suppose. You spent too much time drinking and smoking in your early 20s. Your body's already in shambles. That's why we have dreams about your teeth falling out. Now let's take a look at your heart rate. Julie guides the stethoscope chest piece to your left collarbone and slowly slides it down your chest. Touch is icy, but intimate. Your heart rate is a little bit lower than average. Are you an athlete? You're not an athlete. You're just presently deprived of your beloved uppers. Your heart is slacking off their administrative absence. I can tell. Keeping the diaphragm in place with her left hand, Julia runs her fingers along your right bicep and up your shoulder. Part of the inspection? Oh no, I apologize. You just have an impressive physique. Alright, heart rate is healthy. Just need to check your breathing is normal. Take a few deep breaths from me, okay? Julia puts her ear down directly over your mouth. You resist intrusive thoughts about gently nibbling it. Close enough that you can smell her. She smells lightly of peppermint. Breathe deeply, slowly, in and out, about 2 or 3 cycles. Julia rises a bit, her eyes remaining fixed on your chest. Slowly, she guides her hand to the top of your breasts and presses down firmly. Keep breathing, please. Easy now. In and out, in and out. Focus on the breath itself. Your breathing is normal, though I can feel your heart rate spiking a little. In and out, in and out. Julia slowly rises back and moves her hand from your chest. Very good. One more check. Need you to count to 0. Starting from 5, going backwards. Not like I'm about to give you, like, sleeping gas or anything. You do that for me? Not antagonize her, I guess. You hear the slightest amount of shuffling. 5. Yes, like that. 4. Keep going. 3. Sharp stinging pain rings through your left arm. Sharp, piercing, hot. A needle jab. Please, miss, relax. It was just a pinprick. Please, miss, there's no need to make a scene. I only provide a small dose of anxiolytics and muscle relaxants, intramuscular. Need to make the procedure a bit easier for you. You aren't being charged for it either. Really, I'm doing you a pretty big favor. Places her hands back on your collarbones. Finish the inspection, miss. We can go to the operation. Yeah, who cares? He said it would be non-invasive. Come on, you can hardly call that old pinprick invasive. Had I warned you about it, it only would have given you anxiety. You lurch forward, off of the gurney, and dust yourself off. Take me to the maternity ward now. Julia finally starts to look a little cross with you. Fine, maternity is back out and just down the hall. If you're so eager, you lead the way. I'm not feeling great. Oh, our map's getting all wobbly. Oh no. Oh no. I don't think we're making it there. Alright. There's faces. I don't like this. There's faces, and our map doesn't even really exist, and I can't go backwards. I feel like I'm just walking through the same room over and over again. And now there's buildings inside of my room, and it's all staring at me. And now we're inside of a giant spiral. And I can't... Oh, and we're facing this way. We're going into the center of the spiral, and I'm sure there's only good things in the center of the spiral. This is it, the room at the end of the wing, where Wiggly was supposed to meet us. Miss. Lily's behind us. She followed us all the way down the hall. Miss, slow down. You're medicated. You shouldn't be walking without assistance. You're the one who said, fine, you go ahead. And I'm just fine. There's only 1,000,000 eyeballs looking at me. Do not stop. Do not wait for her. Where's Wiggly? Try to find Wiggly. Should be here. He should be here. You are not alright. Thank you. Also, thank you for not spawning 1,000,000 eyeballs on yourself. That was really kind of you. Flail your hands wildly, groping haphazardly for an anchor. Your right hand lands first, finding handle on the nearby medical cabinet. The cabinet is your only source of stability, put all your weight on it trying to balance. It's not as heavy as you imagined. You can feel it tipping towards you. There's no stopping. You flail forwards towards the back of the room, mostly clear of the fallen cabinet, but your leg ends up pinned underneath. Yes, my leg. Whichever one of these is my leg. Multicolored assortment of vials, syringes, and ampoules flow forth from the cabinet. They stain the floor you're pinned to. A moment later, you hear clanging footsteps. Julia is closing the distance. Julia enters the room, jams her knee between your shoulder blades, and arrests your left wrist, putting it behind your back. Skin feels like ice. The distortions intensify the moment her skin touches yours. She's restraining you, and she's poisoning you. Patient's behaving violently, initiating restrainment procedures. Julia's shouting down the hall. She pretends not to hear you. You struggle. Julia has a stranglehold on your left wrist and her knee on your back. Your legs remain pinned by the medical cabinet, but you can tell it isn't too heavy. Your right hand's free, use it. You need to look at the needle. You seize the needle and violently strike Julia's right thigh. You penetrate her envelope, breaking her epidermis. Electric shock shivers down your spine. Shake off the intrusions. Julia doesn't react to the invasion. She isn't even trying to prevent a second strike. She finds it familiar. The room begins to reek of organic solvents. Your shoulder blades and left wrist start to burn. You drag the vial into your field of view. You make out the label now. The needle contains a dose of norepinephrine. Inject it straight into the main line. It should still be intuitive for you. Use the boost to wrestle out of Julia's grip. Haphazardly plunge the needle into the outer side of your right thigh, midway between the hip and knee. The sting of violent self-penetration reverberates through your legs. Julia releases her grip and throws herself back, fail to navigate the norepinephrine to a viable vein. Stabbing yourself has thrown Julia off balance. Get up, we need to make a run for it. Pull your legs out from under the cabinet and coil yourself into a pouncing position. You notice your left hand is covered in blood. You press your chest up and tuck into your knees, quickly but deliberately putting your weight on your right foot, beginning to push your center of mass up. Balance fades slightly as your right leg nears full extension. You slam your left leg firmly under the liquid floor, stabilizing yourself. Both legs are fully extended now, and we are... I don't even know what we're doing, and I don't like that you're there on top of it. You're doing it, you're standing. Turn around. Julia's retreated to the corner, hyperventilating. Shut the door when she shut the door when she entered. Will it open? Door is locked now. You violently shake the handle. It's as if the door is glued to the frame. Just like the isolation cell door that separated you from Wiggly. Minerva wants us here. You feel an icy tug on your right leg. You look down. Julia is tugging at you. Her body's lightly convulsing as if she's being electrocuted. She's pathetic. What did you inject me with? Why did you pin me to the ground? Julia doesn't respond. Instead, she scurries forward and tightly grips her calf. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Help me out of this. Give me the sedatives, miss. I'd be so grateful I gave them to you. Please, miss, I'm in pain. You don't know what this feels like. Miss, no, please don't leave me like this. Please not here, not in this room. Leave me alone anywhere else. Her fingers sink deeper. Your calf begins to sear.
I heard a few jump scary things.
I mean...
What is happening?
So...
Is she... She's in a very compromising position. I don't like this.
And I don't like that one of her options is to kiss her. So, what you missed is she took us into the room to do, like...
The operation on our toenail?
Oh, it was the preliminary things. It was, check your heart rate, your blood pressure.
That's when I left.
Okay, so she did her heart rate and blood pressure, and, the thing where you, breathe deeply in and out a few times. And then she did, the close your eyes and count backwards from 5.
Okay.
And then she injected us with a needle, and now we see like this. So we, got up and, wandered away, drugged. And we started seeing, colors and, eyeballs and everything, and it's weird. We make it into this room, and we're, losing our balance, so we put our hand on a cabinet. It topples over and falls in our leg, pinning us to the ground. She comes in and is like, oh, the patient's being, they need restraining.
Right.
So she takes, our arm and puts the knee on our back, police arrest style.
Okay.
And then we take some of, the stuff that's on the floor and, inject her, stab her with the needles. Mm-hmm. That does nothing. Then we find one, they had a medical term for it. It sounded like it was adrenaline, maybe it was. So we stab ourselves with the adrenaline.
Okay.
And, throw her off. And then she's suddenly, crying in the corner, and the door is locked. And then she, grabs onto her leg like this, please give me the drugs, I helped you, I gave them to you, please help me.
Okay.
And that's where we're at. I don't think I'm going to try to kiss her, so let's try to break free. You violently kick Julia to the ground. She again begins to shake. Here's what I meant about the eyes. Here's what we've been looking at for like the past 5 minutes. It's great. I love it.
You should find the copy. If anyone can find the copy of this kids game about the game is called Journey into the Brain. It's this kids game about this girl named Celeste. You go into her brain she's lost her memory. So you go into her brain to try to connect like synapses together and everything. The aesthetic of this screen reminds me of that game.
I hope you don't violently kick people to the ground in that one. He stares down at her hands. Why? Why do I still see these? Your own hands begin to burn violently. Sensation spreads. Bullet ants begin swarming your body. Your legs are invaded. You begin to fail and revolt. Fall to the ground, paralyzed. The ceiling is trying to suck you in. It's succeeding. Your legs and arms extend and retract, taking on bizarre proportions. You feel like a severed toe. Why do I keep finding you like this? Soak in and just vibe, or regain composure? I would like to regain composure, please. Yes, gaslight yourself. Your legs and arms are the same length. Proprioceptive senses lie. Proprioceptive? Ceiling is just a normal ceiling adorned with a cool pattern. You can just see it more clearly now. Nerve endings fraying along your appendages are merely toxins leaving the body. You'll come out of this healthy. The fog is interrupted by an intrusive grating sound, the opening of a hatch. Miss? He's opened the grate leading to the ducts for you. Dive for it. You hurl yourself to a horrible configuration some would call upright, and launch yourself into the hole. Okay, now we got dead animals, so that's great. Hey there, been a while. What's he doing here? Get him out of here. Now is really not the best time. I need more time. That's all you ever do is try to buy yourself a little more time. I do this for you, I'll make it happen. I just need a few more moments to get back on my feet. You never get it together, do you? Face it, you're never going to be prepared for this. You should just jump in and get this over with. What scraggly rat is lying? You're seconds away from getting your shit together. Why am I stuck in a spectrograph? Better than the one where you're naked in public, right? I hate to admit, but she's right. This is a lot more tolerable than that nightmare. Better than the ones where your teeth start falling out, too. Hasn't been that long. Never leave me alone. I wouldn't have to keep showing up if you didn't just get it together. I can go back. I can correct it. I can fix it all. No, you cannot. Past stands forever as an unerasable monument to spite and stupidity and lust. You squander your youth and beauty, writhing, wailing, vainly trying to chisel that ugly mark into something it just isn't. Is it too late for me? Please, cease these loaded rhetorical questions. Both know I'm in no condition to forgive you. Tell me what I'm supposed to do, please. Tell me what to do. Thrash about in the mud and tar as a horrifying horse drags you down. Just kidding, you probably should have seen a psychoanalytical specialist or something, but instead he came here. Feel a light splash hit your face, and then another. And another. Water torture. So fitting? Like our time's once again coming to a close. Figure this out, make everything right, undo what was done. Her laugh, it hurts. You just don't get it, do you? You returned here, you've already failed. But how did you say this is pronounced? Amelie?
Amelie?
Amelie. Emily?
It's Wiggly, our bud!
Yeah, he's back. Can you hear me? Please, without motor or verbal feedback on your part, I have no way of knowing if you're alright. I hear you. Thank goodness, miss, you really had me worried. In responding, I was worried I might have lost another client. How long was I out for? Not long, maybe 30 minutes. No, pretty much immediately after you flung yourself into the ventilation shaft. So it all happened pretty fast, but I think you might have hit your head on something. Wasn't sure what was going on, so I closed up the grate and pulled you a few dozen meters to get you out of the shaft into a more spacious basement. Looking over you since. When I didn't hit my head, I was drugged. I don't see how that could have happened, but if you say so, miss. Did I say anything while I was out? Yeah, you repeatedly muttered a few phrases along the lines of, I've ruined everything for all eternity, or nothing can ever fix this, or none of this is my fault. Also said something about finding a time machine somewhere in Minerva and fixing it up. Said something along the lines in different ways 3 or 4 times, actually. It's not what I remember dreaming. Well, it's what I remember you saying. How did you know I need to be rescued from that room? I didn't, miss. But the way you were behaving, well, I could tell something unusual is going on. I was in the overhead ventilation system in the hallway outside the room, so I tried yelling through the vents, but you couldn't hear me. You were only a few feet away. I saw you enter that room, so I decided to follow the ventilation shaft there, and when I opened that grate, you dived in. You acted like you're trying to get away from something, so I closed up the grate and dragged you to this basement. What about the woman, Julia? Miss, there wasn't anyone else with you. Not in the hallway, not in the room. How could you have missed her? She was right there. You must not have been paying attention. I see. This is very bad, miss. Very serious. This Julie has been following you. She's not like you or me. She's part of Minerva, and for whatever reason, she's attached to you.
Don't like that. I don't like when they describe things as being attached to you.
Who is Julia exactly? Not everyone left behind during the catastrophe was lucky enough to die. An unfortunate few are still here, lingering on, nails dug deep into their palms. Julie is one of them, I'm sure. The fact that only you could see her confirms it. You're in deep trouble, miss. But I don't understand how. Neither do we. No one does. Nonetheless, I've seen this before, and so have other ferrymen. The client most often someone with connections here enters the city, and then usually somewhere near the Saturn core, start having delusions of a third party. The presence might be innocuous enough at first, helpful even. But as soon as the client gets sick and has trouble walking, start having hallucinations. No matter how many times I see it happen, and it never fails to shake me to the core, seeing a client incapacitated, writhing in terror at someone in the room I cannot even see. If we hadn't been separated, I might have noticed the signs earlier. Not that it would have helped much. He's being uncharacteristically blunt, isn't he? We're fucked. You've gone through this before? That means you know what to do? Well, we're not completely bereft of options, miss. There's no way to run away from this. Julie is attached to you. You need to find a way to shake her off. Okay, how do I shake her off? Finally got through, found some old family photo belonging to her attachment. I couldn't see exactly what happened, but she reported that showing the family photo to a haunting entity allowed her to break free. We should hunt for some sort of personal artifact that means something to Julia. I think that's her best chance. What can you tell me about Julia? Any leads that might point us towards personal artifacts of hers? Clients, as in singular? Yes, I'm not going to lie to you, miss. I've only had one client make it through something like this. The rest either expired or disappeared. Expired and disappeared sounds like transparent euphemisms for died, and something even worse happened to them, respectively. Okay. She's a nurse who works in the maternity ward. She acted like the visitation was bringing me in for something extremely discreet. It was cagey about what it was actually for, that's all I know. Visitation? She saw you for a visitation? Yeah, she assumed it was what I was there for. The door to the maternity ward was locked, and she said she could unlock it. Not that we did that in that order, but yes. I see. The door shouldn't have been locked. Kind of suspicious. In any case, that's not a lot to work with, but it's a start. It'll be high risk, but we should scour the maternity ward for anything we can find pertaining to Julia. I doubt we'll find the personal artifacts we're looking for, but we might find a few clues as to her identity and exact role. I agree, the tunnels behind me are pretty much a straight shot. They terminate at a hatch that leads up to one of the maternity ward offices. I suggest we start heading through them. Feel unstable, good to walk. It's been a few more minutes recovering here, but I wouldn't want to linger for too long. If you say so, miss. Okay, miss, managed to grab the medicine from the storage closet I mentioned? Why does he look like he's holding like a thing of like hand lotion or soap? Wiggly immediately reaches forward and confiscates the bottle of stimulants. Thank goodness, I was worried there might not be any more of these in this part of the city. We'll have to venture deep into the core to find this stuff. Alright, let's keep going. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Not all eyes, that's nice. We also still can't go back. That's great. Sure. I can barely breathe in here. There's all this dusty stuff wrapped all over the pipes and all over the floor. It's insulation. They wrapped all the steam pipes in to prevent heat loss. We used to tear some off and use it as bedding material during nap time. Stuff like this safe to breathe? I try not to think about it too much. You emerge from the hatch into a dim, grimy office. Despite the large window next to the desk, the room remains poorly lit. Wiggly begins speaking in a hushed tone. This is Vera's office, presumably the one she got after requesting a transfer. I found some of her diary pages in that cabinet drawer while I was working my way towards you. I think you should have a look at them. Also, let's mind our voices from here on out. Julia, or whoever you were talking to, is still probably on this floor. Extract the cabinet from its drawer. The interior emits a vaguely leathery odor. Several more diary pages lie inside, neatly stacked. You pick them up.
Missed a few days again, though this time only because I'm so wrapped up in my... I've discovered that instances of the infant mortality and stillbirth are synchronized with the medical supply irregularities I documented. Every cluster of stillbirth is preceded by a suspicious reduction in the quantities of ergot and datura we have on hand. The implications of this are chilling. I think someone is using the ergot to induce stillbirths. That would explain why the stillbirths tend to occur in clusters, and why the medical supplies always go missing at the same time. I'm going to try and get my hands on more precise staff timesheets, ideally with hourly precision. Maybe there's a pattern I didn't see before. Oh yeah, mood positive, driven.
Yeah, she thinks someone's swiping the drugs to induce abortions. She suspects as much, at least. Might have been correct. For the table, abortion rings are pretty common in Minerva. Medical supply irregularities are suggestive.
I managed to get my hands on the employee timesheets, the pattern. Over 90% of the incidents of stillbirth occurred under the direct watch of Dr. Tan or one of his nurses. I suspect they are using ergot from the medical supply closet to induce miscarriage, though I'm uncertain of the tour's utility. Some of the necessary medical equipment is only accessible intermittently, thus explaining the clustering. Dr. Tan's team has 2 women booked for visitation tomorrow morning, both for obviously frivolous afflictions. I'm going to surveil one of their operations. If they perform professionally, I'll probably just keep my mouth shut. They're probably just a discreet team providing a necessary service. But I need proof. There's a ventilation grate in the room they were slated to use. I'll spy from the ducts and see how they perform.
His telegrams definitely corroborate Vera's hunch, I'll say that much. I bet she took the exact same route through the tunnels we just did, though in reverse. The room at the end of the corridor is where they would have operated. What do you mean? Those are some of the nicest tunnels in the city. So spacious. You barely have to duck. The water is less than knee-deep the entire way. There isn't even a hint of facetiousness in his voice. He loves those tunnels. Something tells me this might. Let's go search the top floor. There's a few nurses' quarters up there. Maybe one of them belongs to Julia. There are also a few neonatal units up there. Worth taking a look around. There's just out the door and across the hall. Let's try to move quickly across the hallway and not make too much noise. So, can I be chased now? I don't like that. No options. Julia's that way. Probably. I recommend avoiding that area, miss. Let's go to the stairs left quickly. Oh, this courtyard's beautiful. I don't remember any part of the city having this many vines. It's definitely a nice area. I used to let the nurses smoke here while they weren't on shifts. I didn't get to see this place till after I became a ferryman, though. Actually, several courtyards like this nestled to the hospital complex. Able to see a few lanes out the windows on the top floor. Stay here a little while. This is the first time I felt relaxed since, well, ever. I do not recommend we stay here long, miss. The better we resolve the situation with Julia, the better. He just doesn't want us to have fun. Oh, find the hidden courtyard. A collection of antique pianos populates the left half of the room. Presumably they were stored here while not use. A loosely stacked sheet of papers roosts on the desk before you. A slight curl in the form suggests they were delivered through pneumatic lines. The pages smell strongly of mold and the linings are heavily worn. However, the inscribed text remains perfectly legible. A glance reveals they appear to be internal communications between two administrators involved with the theater department. Leslie. I apologize for the last-minute change in plans, but we've got to pull the posters for the new play. Don't distribute them tomorrow. I'll have the new design finished by the end of this week. Best, Robert. What the fuck? The posters are scheduled to go up in 6 hours. We've been planning this for months. One of the actors sleep with Tam's wife again? Or end up on Rosalind's shit list? But there's a very good fucking reason for this. Sorry, Leslie, it's one of our actresses. Julia. She's pregnant. Obviously pregnant. We've all been pretending not to notice, but she's bulging so much, it's disgusting. I made the call to take her out of the play today, but she's all over the posters, we've got to redo them. Fuck, fine. Send me a photo of the new actress's head. We'll just slap it over the existing posters. That'll save some time. You could have just told me the star was pregnant, you know. These guys sound horrible. They certainly sound like they lack compassion. I hate it when people have to be mean. I think it has to do more with who she was. A lot of people here look down on the nurses, especially the ones who worked in maternity. Never really understood why. Yeah, this doesn't leave us much helpful info. Let's keep looking. And see a bit more of the wing from this angle. We were unable to get a good look from the first floor. Grass is clearly artificial. Artificial ambient light from the dome scatters overhead. None of it feels natural. This day room appears to have been set aside for storage at some point. Documents and other worn notes are strewn about the floor. None of them appear to have anything to do with Julia or your mom. This room is lined with 2 rows of cribs. They are all turned to face you. Empty cribs are accusing you of something. Just feel their ire. An array of esoteric chemicals decorate the shelf before you. Many of the bottles are adorned with Latin names. Pedalostigma, Pubescens, Eucalyptus gamophylla, Aethorphyllum chlorostachys,
Stachys? CH. Stachys?
You can't decipher any of them.
No, neither do I.
I know eucalyptus. That's the only one I recognize. Wafts of chemical air emanate from the cracks and loose seals afflicting many of the medicinal bottles. Catch wafts of alcohol, formaldehyde, and unknown organic solvents. Wiggly, after glancing over a few of the bottles, becomes a bit apprehensive, since there's something that he doesn't want to share. A loose note stuck on the door in the midsection of the cabinet catches your eye. You pick up the note. It appears to be a leathery pharmaceutical request receipt issued to Julia. The texture of the page is harsh on your fingertips, as if the paper was soaked in decades of chemical runoff. She appears to have requested a list of medicinal substances shown in the ledger below her name. All of her requests have been declined. Are the drugs she's requesting abortion drugs? Yes, they are. All of them. How does he know that? I didn't think child laborers often had much in the way of pharmaceutical knowledge. Well, we utility kids relied on a lot of uppers to get through our shifts. Most of those we had to scrounge for.
So most of them were for fever, malaria, antiseptics, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatories.
Okay.
They're legit drugs.
So, well, we know how to tell amphetamines and laxatives apart. It was a pretty helpful skill to nurture. I don't know, but it looks like there's something written on the back of the receipt. Stop sending me requests for these. You're way, way over the 8-week mark. When I get rid of your kid so bad, send it to Rosalind. Well, the legal cutoff kept changing over the years, I think. First it was 16 weeks, then 12, then 8, then 2. Overheard a lot of conversations between core officials talking about how they needed more kids. How they had to get the birth rate up, that sort of thing. I never really understood why. Yes, we should just keep digging around for more notes on Julia. Tons of old medicines are stocked here. You could have hours of fun with the stuff on this shelf. All the best stuff's been picked clean from that cabinet, I'm afraid. And what's on the other side? This courtyard seems to have a central fountain. It has been consumed by vines. The navigator did a clear view of it on the first floor. It's very soothing to see. These shelves are awfully ornate. Yep, they used to be lined with medications too, mostly for the nurses on staff. Mostly amphetamines, you know. We picked the shelves clean years ago. We'll do the right side first this time. Why did it turn to face it? Huh. Every other door in the hallway is wide open or is disintegrated, but this one's locked. I don't remember there being any locked rooms on this floor. It's possible I'm misremembering, though. We have to find a way in here. You know, there's some incredible stuff packed back in there. Goodies, doubloons, funneled medical stuff, recreational medications, juicy letters written between forbidden lovers. Keep our eyes out for keys moving forward. And yeah, I heard it. Except for this room, it's way less dilapidated than the others in the home. All of the rooms in this hall are nurses' quarters. Not sure why this one's so intact, but my guess is one of the other ferrymen used the room as a camping spot or something. I didn't even really see this thing. Is this another fancy trash chute like the ones I found various diary pages in? Nope, that's an old pneumatic line. Administrators used to send small packages all over the city. Sometimes packages would get jammed in tubes and we have to ride through the access conduits to dislodge them. It's one of the worst jobs. Enter a room lined with dozens of decrepit suitcases. The air is stagnant and full of particulates. It feels as though you are the first to breathe this air in decades. Oh, Samus has redeemed. You take control.
I have to take control?
Yep.
Oh no.
Hope you remember where we've been. You just click on continue.
Oh no, this is... I have zero, directional ability. Okay, how do I do this?
The text will only advance if you click on continue.
Continue? Okay. Enter room and it doesn't... Suitcases look like they haven't been disturbed in a very long time. You are worried even the slightest touch might cause them to disintegrate. Let's not touch anything.
This room was a communal storage area for patients and nurses. Hardly anyone had time to retrieve their belongings before evacuating, so all their stuff's still here. Yes, it is Samus's. You should look through these suitcases. There's a good chance one of them belonged to Julia.
They're disintegrating! Scan the suitcases along the wall for familiar names. Andrew, Shelton, Daniels, all misses. Finally, a sense of familiarity occupies your periphery. Julia! The suitcase is stuffed with an assortment of odd items, ribbons, pens, and a conspicuous pair of children's shoes. You also find a stacked array of contracts, checks, and receipts. One document in particular catches your eye. Typo. A notice of custody transfer. Official notice of custody transfer. Angela Melnick. Julia Melnick. Saturn IM. This document certifies that one Angela Melnick is now a ward of the Saturn Interior Ministry. This will be our final communication barring further requests for information. Julia put Angela up for adoption?
Not adoption. He was handed over the Saturn Interior Ministry.
Why is he Southern now? They take indigent children, teach them vocational skills, provide some employment. Really kind of them to look after kids in Angela's position. Just I don't know if I want to bring that up. He's our only guide.
He's a little
He flops over.
Yeah.
Whoops. Okay, what's on the back of the notice? Looks like a note of some sort. Postscript. I don't often include personal notes with these notices, but these are unique circumstances. Most women who put a child in our program don't live 2 floors above in the same building. Some of my colleagues have expressed concerns that living in such close proximity to your former child might cause psychological duress. Be informed that while we permit visitation, we don't encourage it, and 2 days prior notice is required in all cases. Rosalind, Program Director. There he is again.
That's your mom again, right? So I guess Angela wasn't sent to the interior.
No, he was sent downstairs to Mom. Angela ended up in Mom's program. Do you think that's why Julia clung to me? That sounds plausible.
Wait, what was our name?
Our name?
Yeah.
Amelie? Yeah, Amelie,
okay.
Right?
I was like, is it close enough to Angela that that's us?
An old room key! Oh no, I'm gonna have to find this room. Alright, time to get lost. How do you know this is a room key? All the room keys look like this. They designed them to look like chess pieces for some reason. Okay. I don't know that for sure, but given that she had it buried in her suitcase, I think it's likely. This is you.
Here's something I do know for sure. This key opens the locked room we passed in the hallway back around the corner. I took a look at the lock plug on the door when we passed earlier. It's a perfect match for this key, so there's a good chance that that's Julia's room.
Right.
Here, let's get the door open and take a look around. He gave you instructions on how to get there.
Wait, what did he say? Oh, no. Okay, no. Already back. We go this. That's the way up to the roof. Okay. What's here? Oh my god, it's the same one. What did he say? Where was it? Are you not allowed to tell me while I'm in control?
That's half the fun.
Don't understand. This way? No. Wait, what?
It is weird, but you found the door.
I did it.
I think that's... Good job, you got us here. Julia's room is cloaked in a layer of ferns. You can sense their spores permeating the room. A constant drizzle of water pours from the ceiling. The entire room is dense with foliage, though the greenest is thickest near the pot towards the foot of the further cot.
This is what I want our house to look like.
I'd like if it didn't sound like this. A dense, mangled web of ferns is crawling out of the basket. They appear to be suffocating a small piece of parchment stuck beneath their roots. The basket itself appears charred as though it hosted a small fire. None of the basket's contents appear damaged by the flame. You sink your arm deep into the mesh of ferns before you and blindly groping for the object you sense. You feel the stems of the greenery enveloping your arm, depriving you of oxygen, the tendrils wrapped tightly around your forearm. Force your arm deeper into the mesh, your fingers sift through the roots and ash. Just as the tips of your fingers begin to go numb, you feel it, the parchment begins grazing your palm. You tighten your hand around the document, that solid grip. You try to wrestle the document from the ferns, but the plant resists your pull. You yank again more firmly. The roots don't yield. They won't let your arm go. You writhe and twist, but the ferns have you ensnared. Your arm only sinks deeper into the pit of greenery. You still want this for our house?
Not if the plants are sentient.
I don't think... Oh. Ferns do not respond to your agitations. They have you in their teeth. After going the aggressive, merely reacting never got you anywhere. Dive into the ferns and start biting, ripping, and tearing. It's your only chance. You dive into the pot and start ripping into the ferns with your teeth. You can almost hear them squealing with pain, but they do not relent. You have your arm in the document. You have to go deeper. You dive headfirst towards the bottom of the basket and bite the roots. Taste the ash they've been feeding on. Finally, into the ferns beginning to yield. The grip on your arm begins to fade. The stems that have begun to envelop the back of your head and neck retreat, but have a chance at yanking at the document now. You manage to free yourself from the web of roots and pull the document out with you. Yes, it worked. Hopefully this conditions you to follow my advice more readily in the future. Should I ask what that was about, ma'am? The ferns tried to eat me. You should have helped me, but it doesn't matter. I'll keep that in mind if you get caught up in any ferns ahead. What does the note say? You got it out, right? Brush a thick layer of dirt off the note. Doing so reveals a faint odor of kerosene. Contact name, Julia. Contact relation, biological mother. Reason for communication, major health update. I hope this letter finds you well. We are writing to inform you that one Angela Melnick has fallen into a persistent vegetative state, likely as a result of encephalitis. Based on our observations of the disease's progression in other children in her care, we do not expect her to recover. However, we will continue to provide life support for as long as automatic functions persist. Her participation in our neural research program will continue. We apologize for any distress this may cause. If you would like to cease providing updates for Angela's condition, please contact the Children's Ward's clerk. Rosalind. notes we've seen from Rosalind Dew Painter's a little tactless. I can see why you would find this note upsetting, miss. This document is the most informative lead we've gotten yet. I think we might know why Julia might be upset enough to stick around. I really don't want to go there, but I don't think we have any choice. We need to pay a visit to the children's ward. The only way to get there is to take the elevator back near the stairwell we came up. All the other entrances have been sealed for decades. So what's the catch? It's a little more involved than it sounds. We'll need to go up the elevator shed on the roof and turn the lifts on. Before we turn on those machines, the elevator isn't going anywhere. Alright, how do we get to the elevator shed? The stairwell leading up at the end of the hall. That'll get us to the roof. Investigate the roof walks to cross the elevator shed, but that shouldn't be too hard. Once we get that going, we come back down and take the elevator to the children's ward. There was something.
Where are we supposed to be?
An administrative building / hospital.
I mean, like, what country, what...
We're in an underground city.
Location? That don't look underground.
We also can't escape this room now. Wiggly begins inspecting the panel before you. Alright, I need to swap out a few of these wires and... Oh, that's not good. That's very not good. Miss, I have some bad news. One of the fuses on the elevator control panel has disappeared, see? Went to a vacant piece of real estate on the panel. Sorry, miss, but there's no way to get the elevator to the bottom floor. The hospital complex hasn't been powered, but this elevator equipment does, so do a few of the surgical rooms. The central power grid hasn't been functioning since the city collapse. But the hospitals and certain pieces of critical infrastructure are supplied with backup high-density fuel canisters. Stuff like surgical suites, elevators, ventilators, and the like can still run during power outages. Saturn core inventions, little cylinders you can plug into compatible circuits that make a weird screaming noise when you put your ear against them. They last for decades, but sometimes aren't particularly stable. We're powering this elevator machinery just fine though. Hear that hum? The lights in this room are also powered. The skylights are artificial. I have no clue on either count. Somehow I'm not shocked that the elevator's been disabled. The nerve has been reacting antagonistically towards you. More so than any other client I've ever guided. So the city itself magically stole the fuse because it doesn't like me. Not necessarily. One of the other ferrymen might decide to block access to the children's ward. At least one ferryman has disappeared there. It's also possible some scrapper stole it for himself. The ward is full of valuables, so leaders sometimes pay a visit if they're extremely desperate. Then one of them decided they didn't want any competition. Somehow, though, I feel like Minerva is giving you another sign. There's no other routes. Every basement level door was locked shut before the city was even abandoned. Even the utility tunnel connections were blocked off. They only neglected to seal the basement elevator entrance because they'd rewired the elevator to never go there. But you can bypass those locks by swapping a few of these cables around. Or rather, you could before the fuse disappeared. On the left side of the room you see a large metallic lever reminiscent of an antique prop from an old horror film. The lever appears to be a circuit breaker switch for the elevator machinery. Don't touch that. That'll cut the circuit for the elevator equipment, including the backup magnetic locks keeping the elevator from falling. Cables for the elevator are totally rotten. Magnetic backups are the only thing keeping the cables suspended. Miss, please, that's ridiculous. Bordering on suicidal. Once the line is cut and the brake is released, nothing will serve to retard the elevator's free fall. The elevator's idling on the roof and will drop all the way down to the sub-basement. That's over a 10-meter drop. Don't let him talk you out of it. You know what you came here for. Yeah, you do. What's that, miss? Miss, that's a common misconception. If you are hurtling towards the ground at 20 meters per second and jump at the speed of 1 meters per second, well, you hit the ground at 19 meters per second. We already knew that. I was really hoping he didn't, though. I'll just secure his compliance some other way. Yeah, force his hand. Good idea. Now collaborating with the plan is the safe option for him. Still, he looks pretty shaken. Yes, I can't stop you from doing this. Please think hard about whether or not this is worth it. He's coming around to the plan. You might break your legs in the fall, or your spine. There'd be nothing at all I could do to help you. Is that how you want to stand, starving to death at the bottom of an elevator shaft with 2 broken legs and no painkillers? You're really going to go through with all this, aren't you? No talking out of it. He sounds almost disappointed in himself. The very ferryman might have convinced you to drop this. He's thinking. Fuck, okay. Get in the elevator, smack the roof a couple of times when you get there, so I know you're inside, then I'll disconnect the cable and pull the lever. He does not return your things. Looks sullen, hollow, and even a little guilty. He reaches into his pocket. Miss, you might want this, just in case the descent goes poorly. It's phenamide, miss. An opiate derivative. All ferrymen keep some on their person in case of emergencies. End up immobilized at the bottom of the shaft. Well, this might be an appealing option. Just take all of them. I won't be asking for the leftovers. Alright, no point in putting this off. Head back to the elevator, and when I hear you banging the roof, I'll release. Pretty sure you shouldn't be thanking me. See, we're in a cave. Look at all the stalactites.
Okay. I see it. They look like mountains. Don't like that.
What? Where are we? What just happened?
Did you fall through?
I think so. I think we just fell through the roof. Need to get snarky with it. Guess you can just think of this as a practice fall. We can handle a 10-foot drop. I think we're ready to handle a 30-foot free fall now. I doubt he did. The wind's pretty intense up there, and this building makes plenty of strange noises on its own. Julian might have heard it, though. We should get moving. I think we're back near the stairwell we came up to the top floor on. You're right next to the elevator cabin now. Actually, it should be over to the left. You move? I never noticed how nice the ceiling
was.
Never had a chance to look up. We've been too focused on scrounging around dingy offices and squalid filing cabinets. Let's slither into the cabin of the elevator so we can get down to the basement. Seen with some difficulty and stumbled towards the elevator cabin at the end of the hall. It's nestled awkwardly into the end corner of the hallway, likely a later addition to the original construction. The elevator is idled out of phase with respect to the floor, leaving a gap of several feet between the top of the cabin and the door frame. Oh, okay, we just gotta step in and smack the roof, remember? Nothing to it.
Oh, I don't like that.
You lean your head in above the cabin and look up the shaft. See the artificial light from the rooftop machine room pouring in from above. You also see the faint outlines of the rigging equipment that once kept the cabin suspended. Supposedly only the magnetic backup remains functional. You clamber down into the elevator. The cabin is small, like a coffin. The trim of the cabin is decorated by an ornate engravings. They are beautiful, but not comforting. You look down and see an enormous dead rat under your foot. Its mass is superior to any rodent you ever encountered. The size of this specimen, incredible. You have to investigate this. Pick it up so you can weigh it and document its size. Alright, fine, you don't have to pick it up, but you should at least put your hand next to it so you can see how big it is. Your foot.
So, at my uncle's house, there was this rat that I swear to God was probably even bigger than this one.
This is like 3 foot lengths. So,
like, it might have been her foot, maybe.
Yeah.
Not her foot. It might have been like slightly bigger, and it was huge. And we called it the Guardian. Like, it had a name. It was called the Guardian, and it was massive. Like, it came into the little shop at the front of the house one time, and I swear to God, I thought it was like a cat. It was huge.
Do we want to place our hands next to it? I'd rather not. I think the foot's enough. We're already stepping on it.
Okay. Maybe it just needs a little pet.
Fine, I guess we should just get this drop underway. It's time to give Wiggly the signal to drop us. Remember, we just need to slap the roof of the cabin. He'll release the lever. Alright, brace yourself. Don't shove me extra deep in your pocket if you don't. And shove me extra deep in your pocket if you don't mind. Thanks. Now that I'm deeper in here, I can provide padding for the heart and surrounding organs. This is good for both of us. I can just keep shoving him deeper. You think he heard us? Maybe. The horrific visions rattling your spinal column slowly begin to fade. Images and figures are replaced by a pervasive darkness. The tendrils of your nervous system begin to slowly reawaken, and internal monologue slowly creeps back to life. How did you say this? You said? Proprioceptive? Proprioceptive. Senses inform you that you are laying on your side. Slowly you begin to feel the faint ring of pain emanating from your left big toe.
Oh no, you're going to need the toe surgery now.
No, this isn't what being dead is like. I have known death. This is not its nature.
Why did you turn into Bane from Batman?
You know the darkness of the elevator shaft? I was born down here.
Molded by it.
I didn't know what artificial light was till I was a man. Close your left eye, but not your right. Focus on what your left eye is seeing. The left eye doesn't see anything, nor does it see the absence of anything. That's what being dead is like. It pains me to see you wasting such life, such vigor. When death comes, will you wish you spent more of your time staring at the back of your eyelids? Pain from your toe grows closer. You begin to feel the pressure. A mild odor of putrefaction returns to your nostrils. You hear a distinct creaking. Oh, distant. Distant creaking. Just as all of your gears and tendons start to whirl, you hear a familiar voice. We've gotta wake up.
Ah!
Muscles in your face manage to pry your right eye open. You're lying face to face with a giant rat on the floor of the elevator cabin. It begins to whisper to you. Yes, now focus on what the left eye sees. Get a real taste for it. This would have been shocking me 2 or 3 hours ago. Really, you've been maintaining a dialogue with that creature in pocket for quite some time now. Is this so different? You collided during the freefall.
That response is the same, I'm guessing, regardless of
what you chose.
What you chose,
probably.
yeah.
The architecture of my nervous system is still fully intact. When we collided, I received one last glorious injection of life. I thank you for the donation. I only have to live 622 days before dying in the elevator cabin. Such a humiliatingly brief lapse of time. It's a big rat for being, like, less than 2 years old.
Rats don't live long. They make very loving pets, but they don't live long.
Yeah. A group of kids from the Ward family and beat me to death. They tossed me here into the elevator cabin when they were done. Life is not easy for a baby rat. If you don't get big quickly, you'll be eaten by the other baby rats, or your own parents. It's time for you to decide what kind of rat are you going to be. Do we want to be a big rat and eat all of our siblings and our own kids? Or are we satisfied that we stopped growing 15 years ago because we're 26 and this is the tiny rat size we'll always be?
See, that's how I feel. Stopped growing at 15, so...
Your body immediately begins to punish you for this act of psychological cowardice. The quiet pain in your big toe suddenly grows to a deafening roar. You've regained control of your muscles, but the pain makes it impossible to stand. You really think we should take a look at your toe? It's really starting to hurt.
Don't look at it.
Alright, but we gotta deal with that pain somehow. Right now it's too bad to walk. Take some of the painkillers the ferryman gave you. It'd be alright if you just take 4 or 5. Come on, you stand half a bottle of these every time someone said something mean to you. Gotta deal with the pain somehow. You don't want to die on the floor of this elevator cabin while deliriously conversing with a dead rat. Don't mind him. There's no better way to leave this world. You can always take painkillers later. Fine, then do it. Turn your sock and shoot your foot, securing the strings with a tight knot. You right yourself, placing most of your weight on your uninjured foot and leaning against the side of the cabin. All things considered, we did pretty well for a 10-meter drop. If it's any consolation, I'm pretty sure one of my glass eyes is scratched. I don't feel it, but I'm even uglier. But now I'm even uglier. Let's get going. We have a lot of ground to canvas.
He's not ugly. He's just well loved.
The rats.
Oh, is he coming with us?
Of course not. This cabin is a poor tomb. Take me with you. I failed to make the most of my 622 days. We don't owe you this. We don't owe this rancid furball anything. You owe me nothing, but you can give me everything. Wasted so much time. Please take me with you. Enjoy this last injection of life. Take that, Jasper. It's going in the same.
Hey, what the?
This thing is disgusting. How could you do this to me? I'm getting soaked by putrid liquids leaking out from this thing. My ancestor and offspring are in eternal debt to you. Though I think I ate most of my own children. Please, just take him to where he needs to go so I don't have to sit here with him.
It's in her pocket.
Yeah, and they're together in the item pouch now.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Also, we have no idea where we are now. I assume back takes us in. So we got here, but I really don't know how to get out. Yeah, we should have thought of that before telling the ferryman to drop us down.
Ooh, I'm very glad I'm not taking control of this part.
Okay, this looks like a smaller room. I can't stand to see myself in the mirror. Not here. I'm a left first person. Who's that at the end of the hall? It can't be.
No, let's go back. Oh.
Wanna go back?
Oh my god! I can't!
Enter a small office room. A typewriter rests atop a grime-covered desk, and old documents spill out of the drawers. In the corner, you notice a conspicuous locked safe. Move closer to the small safe. It appears to be a combination lock mechanism. You think I should kick it, or please let me kick it?
This is what I was born to do.
No, you'll just break your other toe. You only got like 8 or 9 of those left. Keep looking around some of the other moves. We won't be able to break the code. Rifle through the documents left on the desk. Most of the documents consist only of administrative minutiae. However, you can come across one exchange that catches your attention. Any updates on the rodent infestation problem? How'd that go? Another Tan, or Anthony Tan, that's administrator, was complaining about Vera and those notes we found. That rat your nurses found in the vent? It's taken care of. Got the sleeping sickness now, it won't bother you again. I take it there's much chance of it waking up. I'd rather not call pest control. It risk a repeat of last year's incident. You won't have any further problems. I'll see to it personally this time. Good, very good. Managed to recover any of the materials I was after? All of them. I'll be here in my safe until I get word from you on how to process them. Strange exchange. Seems like they're speaking in code about something. Rats in the vents the nurses found, and talking about Vera. Yes, her. Saturn last night that she was going to spy on one of their operations. Maybe they caught her. Okay, so we've got a safe. We got a woman wandering the hallways. We approach a strange plastic box tucked away in the back of an old closet. It seems to be an impromptu office of some sort. Punch the computer. I think use these arrow keys and move stuff around the screen and this button to select stuff. I don't know how to turn it on though.
Oh!
That's what happens when you punch a computer.
Ah!
The machine whirs to life following your swift strike. You can hear the worn belts being driven for the first time in decades. A series of strange beeps are emitted like rifle fire. That worked? What's this? Just some weird dancing juggler program. This is what we want.
Whoa. Computer loud.
Program changes again following the second strike. The computing box now loads a set of text documents. It looks like you can search through them. Experimental logs. Hypothesis, a new tool. The ephaptic amplifier allows for the enhancement of the natural ephaptic coupling that occurs between spatially adjacent neurons. Propose that the application of this device on 2 test subjects will allow for the nervous system of one subject, the transmitter, to temporarily override the neural activations of the recipient. Subjects. The study is to be performed in 2 volunteers, Alpha and Beta. Alpha, male, moderately overweight, 64 years old, relatively healthy for his age, albeit with limited mobility. Beta, male, underweight, 12 years old, somewhat sickly. Setup. Subject Alpha is to be constrained to the ephaptic amplifier as the transmitter, while subject Beta is to be constrained to the receiver. While some degree of spatial proximity is required to place the subjects in adjacent but completely sound and vision-isolated chambers. Alpha will be asked to perform a series of specific physical actions such as jumping and bending over. Beta will be monitored to see if he performs actions that mirror these commands. Both subjects immediately entered a coma after we put them into the ephaptic amplifier. The whole experiment toast immediately. Kind of funny if my career wasn't riding on this. I suspect Valchek might have installed the transmitter with the wrong chirality. Idiot. We'll have to look at
Idiot.
it. Idiot. We'll look at it when I get Egypt. ID 10T. Rosalind has agreed to source an even younger subject to serve as the recipient. We believe that by age 8, the neuroplasticity might be too diminished to support takeover by a mature subject. Who knows if we can even get funding for more experiments if neither of them wakes up. My career is over. Beta died overnight. We aren't sure, but we think the neuronal override from Alpha wasn't compatible with his nervous system. Kid probably forgot how to breathe or something. I'm sending him off to the coroner and administration. Hopefully he finds something interesting. If not, I guess I'm going back to school. We still haven't heard back from the coroner. Everyone is pretty high-strung around here. We all know what'll happen if the higher-ups find out about this before we can squeeze any kind of result out of this train wreck. Valchek seems like he might be losing it. Actually, he came into my office today, freaking out because he said that kid we sent off to the coroner was following him around. If it wasn't such a fuck-up, I'd feel bad for him. We're having a lot of electrical problems, too. I think the ephaptic amplifier must have fried a few of the circuits. I assume put it a little too close to the wiring. What a nightmare. I saw Beta today. The kid who died, I saw him just standing in the operating room. I think Valchek saw him too, but no one else. He looked exactly the same except his eyes. I don't even want to think about it. I think we didn't insulate the ephaptic amplifier well enough. That's what's causing these hallucinatory spasms. Hopefully symptoms subside within a few days. Also, the coroner just got back to us. Cause of death: hypoxia brought about by nervous collapse. I haven't slept in 2 days. Beta follows me everywhere now. I can't get away from him. Even now, he's standing right behind me. I hope that lady's not standing right behind us. I can see his awful, eyeless face reflecting off the monitor. At one point, he even spoke. He doesn't seem to know he's dead. I scream at him, try to grab him, drop to my knees and beg him to leave, but nothing. He just stares at me with those horrible holes in his skull. Volchek fucked up the experiment. He got the chirality wrong, so Alpha's the real host. That's why Volchek is dead. That's why Beta won't leave. If I want to get rid of Beta, I have to get rid of Alpha. Do the switch in Alpha's room. He's expired now. I can't see Beta anymore, but somehow I know he's still here, still watching. My nervous system has been warped, deformed. It's now synchronized with his. He'll always be here. I'm going to hike along the Pioneer Road at the edge of town. Hopefully that'll help clear my mind. I'm soon to be a wanted man anyways. Seems like they're doing some pretty wild experiments down here. Let's not jump to conclusions. We'll learn more if we just keep looking around. Let's go. He's gone. Who was that lady?
Do you think it would be?
Either what, Julia or our mom?
It's Julia. It's Julia. It's frickin' Julia.
You enter a small room filled with cold, stagnant air. A small, wrinkled lump rests on the periphery of the bed, covered in ferns. The thing on the bed alive? So you feel it too. Think it's Angela? This is a room, and that lump's about the right size and shape for a toddler. Your focus is interrupted by the tortured hiss of static. The television set in the corner sprung to life, along with the lamp that sits atop it. Concentrate your hearing. It sounds faint but disturbingly clear. Approaching footsteps. You slither into the interior of the thick blanket of ferns suffocating the corner of the room nearest the entrance. Look at slices of the bed frame from your vantage point. Footsteps grow louder. The television begins to scream. Oh, there's the nurse. There's Julia. I think she's asleep. Get out of here now. Shut up. Still right outside her room. Quickly, let's keep moving before she hears us. Enter another small basement room, where yet another mesh of bed sheets and greenery cover an emaciated figure. The air here is vibrantly fetid, more so than any other room. Every surface is overrun with ferns and dense, dizzying mold patterns. Thin wires conveying fluids snake around the base of the bed and infiltrate the sheets at the seams. An old lever rests precariously in the on position above the bedridden figure. It appears rusty, though, and you feel you could throw the switch if needed. An electric hum permeates the thick, viscous air. This room lives and breathes. You can't see much through the canopy, but the figure appears mangled and emaciated. A thick layer of moss and mold sits atop the mattress, the product of decades free of disturbances. The outline of a pale hand can be seen emerging from the canopy of bedding and foliage. The rotten fingers are wrapped tight around a weathered piece of parchment. You try and free the note from the figure's ivory grip. The figure resists your pulls and won't let you have it. I think this lump might still be alive. Hear that hum? This room is still powered, like the elevator room. Those cables? I think that machine is sustaining this person. And there's a switch on the wall that we can throw. But, you know, there's life hiding beneath that foliage. I know you can feel it.
Just, like, tickle him or something.
You feel the claiming misery smothering the lump's skin. You feel the mold spores feeding on its nervous system. You can sense the bed sores that have fused its back to the mattress. pull the switch and kill them, potentially, or not pull the switch and just leave.
Hey, Mr. Solidified Body. Do you want to be put out of your misery? Or are you happy that way?
It's an old school breaker deal, just cut the power. Don't be coy, you'll know what happened if you do that. Yeah, you throw the switch and the flow of electrons and fluids will be cut off. Brain function, if there is any, will cease. Any corneas attached to the lump will begin to cloud. Every memory embedded in their synapses will be lost forever. Their dream of seeing the sun for the first time will be obliterated. All this a mechanical consequence of neurons signaling a contraction in your bicep, allowing you to throw the switch. You sure you can live with that? The limbers separating the lump from its environment have disintegrated. Much of its epidermis is fused with the bedding or is being digested by mold. Only remnants of ligaments and tissue remain, articulating the skeleton, protecting critical organs, and fertilizing the ferns. Looking at a breathing carcass, any interference will likely be fatal. There's no saving it. I would vote no for now, because I'm afraid they will, scream. That'll alert Julia.
But they don't even have... what's, at this point, is the person alive in there, or is the person just, what do you call it? The bedding, essentially, for all the plants around it.
Yeah. The way they're describing their body is, fused with the bed at this point. After decades of, just lying here.
Yeah. That's you.
Let's see what happens. Alright, we really rather leave this organ sac alive like this. And I don't think we're gonna get that note. Find a key to get those double doors in the hallway. We probably need to backtrack to go and find it, unfortunately. There's a safe room in the office we pass by. Check it out. And we go back in. Okay? Boy frog, huh? Guess this was the children's ward. And the creepy frog doll.
Creepy frog doll!
Alternative Jasper, it's called. Door's a little jar, but still locked. Bolt spent. Hopefully we can still get it to open. Stop shaking on the door. We're just down the hall from Julia. This is a beautiful poster. It's a shame the edges are so faded. I don't have anything this fancy looking on the surface anymore. Oh. We got another achievement. Visitation logbook lies atop the pile of documents strewn about the room, as before the booklet's placement is conspicuous. You open the first page of the logbook. Entries of visits organized into time slots populate the rows of the sheet. Scan the column for familiar names: Rosalind, Julia, Angela, Paul Lohman, Amelie. None appear. Scan the second page. Again, no familiar names appear. Visitations appear relatively sparse. You can scan this entire book for familiar names in not much time. Years of hospital visits are recorded, so you're likely to find a little info on Julia and Thomas, at least. Spend several minutes running your eyes over the entries on every page. Years of visitation slip by depressingly quickly. You see no mention of Julia nor Angela. Arrive at the final page. The columns terminate. No more visits. Not a single mention of Julia or Angela in the entire booklet. Julia never visited her daughter after sending her here, even though she lived 2 floors below her in the same building. And don't. No one's making you. Have other things to worry about. Just keep looking for ways to shake Julia off. What is this?
Uh-oh.
We may have broken it.
Feature or a bug?
I think that's a bug.
Oh no.
think we may have bugged it. Yeah, I've gone far enough back that I should have hit where I started from.
Uh-oh. And this game doesn't have any saves?
Let's see where the latest autosave was, I guess. Maybe we can open the, Okay. So if you go straight here, you're not supposed to go straight through this window. That breaks the game. There we go. Don't go straight here.
I guess just have that as a note for the Bev.
Yeah. So, on the right side of children's ward.
Where the little frog doll is.
Frog doll's on the other side, or that's on the left side.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, this document room?
Yeah. Where the log book is. Gets you stuck. What's our timestamp? Approximately 2 hours and 45 minutes in. I don't have any clues for the safe. Right? There's nothing on the computer. I don't see any clues. The owl seems to have rusted shut and won't be able to open the normal way. Find some other way to get this open. I understand how, I just know something important is here. Oh, we just kick it open. Great. The remains of your big toe bone shatters with an audible crackle. Waves of excruciating pain radiate through the nerves of your leg. What are you doing? I forgot my toe was broken. Shut up, we aren't very far from Julia. Bite your tongue, coming close to drawing blood. The pain is radiating and penetrating. Never get something like that, seriously. Psst. Hey, we got the safe open, let's look quickly. Safe remains an unkempt pile of documents. Most of them seem to be pertaining to medical minutiae, most of it presumably incriminating. Fingers glide through the papers, hunting for something solid. Subsifting, your left index grazes a hunk of lightly rusted metal. It'll have an oddly shaped skeleton key. Built up the mechanism is in two form. The door looked pretty warped. Before we go looking through the safe, Bears seemed to think there was something really incriminating here. There might be something here to help us deal with Julia. You fight through the stack after stack of meaningless minutiae, financial ledgers, medication, inventories, nurse shift logs. None of it means anything to you. Eventually you arrive at a stack of thick, rigid documents. The corners are hard and their sides sturdy. These look like certificates of some sort. Huh, they look like they were meant to document instances of stillbirth. Must be some reason they wanted these confiscated. Let's flip through them. Go through the stack looking for familiar names. One entry seems familiar. What? Paul Lohman? That's Wiggly's real name, right? But he wasn't stillborn. There were a lot of these kids, I'm guessing. You think what Bear was saying was right? They're faking stillbirths and stealing kids, and Wiggly was one of those stolen kids? He thinks he's an orphan. Does seem likely they're the same. I'm gonna hold on to this document. When we see Wiggly again, I think you need to tell him. It's none of your business. It might cause a bad reaction. But if you must... Great. Love it.
Well, is it more?
You do a quick scan of the room. Jagged outline of a person rests beneath another rancid pile of soiled blankets. Portions of an ivory neckline protrude from the sheets. The door locks behind you and suddenly slams shut. You hear the lock cylinder sliding into place. You're not going to work. You aren't leaving this room until I say so. Oh no. I already knew it was her. Look at you running around acting like you own the place. You're exhibiting clear and willful non-compliance, so I'll remember that when you enter my care. You really think I couldn't hear you? Aren't subtle. I just need to wait for you to leave and hang back till you thought of entering one of these rooms without thinking. That's the mistake people like you make. You think you're safe. You let your guard down. Not me, not anymore. Better hurry if that's the plan. Through the door you hear the muffled hum of a switch being thrown. Not long after you sense a gentle hiss vibrating the air. Hear that? That's the sound of BZ gas filling the room. It'll take a few minutes, but before long the concentration will be high enough that I don't think you'll have any trouble getting you into your streaming jacket. We're fitted with this mechanism in the event that we need to subdue and restrain a patient before moving them. Method is exclusively reserved for violent patients such as yourself. Do you have any idea how fried my brain nugget is? Your dumb gas won't have any effect. Please, by the time I get back to the gas mask, he'll be frozen helpless. We hear those tourists who get tetrodotoxin poisoning from the octopuses end up flat on their backs, unable to fight anything. Seeing them close their eyes, the sun burns holes in their corneas. Lucky for you, the lights here are dim. Julia seems a little rattled by your retort. I know who you are, miss. I know what kind of blood you have in you. Back in a few minutes with a gas mask. I recommend laying down. It'll make the transition feel a little smoother. Julia glides down the hall, escaping your field of view. Cool, we need to focus on finding a way out of here before the concentration of BZ gas is too high. I don't know how much time we have. I tell you what to do because I'm protecting you. You listen because deep down you know you need it. Maniacally search for... Maniacally, there we go. Search...
Manically.
Manically? That was like maniacal. Manically.
Just taking a while.
Yeah. No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
No, it was just...
That felt way too long. There's no way out of this room. We're here to stay. You're always the slow one, even though you're young. You're never quick enough. You're just a little sharper and listened to me, we wouldn't be here. I should know better than to count on you. Try to keep you safe. You aren't good enough. I'm sorry. You don't have to put up with this, Emily. You always have, but you don't have to. You turn to face the figure that spoke to you. Despite the decrepit environment, you feel an invitational pull to join the figure. Don't talk to that thing. Stay away from it. It'll only make things worse. Why do you never listen to what I say? This figure, I think it likes you. You should join them. Lay beside them. Please, Amelie. How can you trust it? I can tell it thinks of you. It thinks you're ugly. And to keep looking for a way out of here. You rest your head next to the figure laying beneath the sheets. You're enveloped by the heat radiating from its perimeter. Such warmth. So many cold nights I spent in the elevator cabin. Maybe we can move in a little closer. I wouldn't mind wrapping it beside them. We can't waste precious body heat after all. Don't do it if you get too close. You might be tempted to touch them. You can never control yourself. We can't have that. I'd look at this figure's frame and feel like cuddling a radiator covered in cloth. You move closer. You cannot help it. Wrap your arms around the section most resembling a torso. You nuzzle your head into the figure's shoulder. Your heart starts palpitating, and you feel your left leg being drawn over the lump's lower section. The warmth begins to permeate your being. Then you hear it. The covered figure begins to speak. That feels nice, doesn't it, Amelie? Your tears, I feel them hitting the sheet. I know every one of them by name. I feel the goosebumps on your skin. I am here. There's nothing you can give me. There's nothing I can take. Just lay here with me in the warmth, just for a little while. I don't want anything. The figure seems to shift, only a little. Somehow you feel you're returning your embrace. I can feel your pain, your unease. What's wrong? Shh. It's alright. No one's gonna get you in here. You're safe in this room. Doesn't know that for sure. Plenty of things could still get you. This thing could still get you. No, Amelie, I'm extremely deteriorated. It's best that you remember my body and my face as they were. You should, Amelie. I was your caseworker. At least I'm what's left of her. Amelie, we have to get out of here. This is a fraud, a wire mother. We're in danger. Please, I beg you, get up right now and run. Run anywhere. Scratch at the door until it yields. Consider suicide if you have to. Anything. Jasper really doesn't like me, huh? Suppose it remembers who I am. Never understand why I kept talking about little doll, but now I know. Amelie, get up. We have to go. You aren't safe here. Only safe if you listen to me.
Wait, let me come closer.
I cannot read that.
I don't think it's actual text.
I want to see if I can blow it up with my phone.
Not.
No?
No, it's like literally just pixels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing.
There, now I can continue our conversation. Oh, but you did with me. I came to your life around the same time Jasper did. In fact, I was the one who gave you that doll, but I didn't think much of it at the time. No, Amelie, you haven't. I gave him to you, along with a lot of other stuffed animals. You only wanted the one shaped like a cat. Remember why? Why you wanted the one shaped like a cat? You can remember. Remember the reason it came into my care? I failed you as a caseworker. The least I owe you is to make sure you understand your past, so go on, say what you did. Aloud. Okay, how do you want to admit that we killed our cat?
Go on. This is... Oh, you didn't... Dang it, you didn't watch Twilight. This is a... Go on, say it. Say it out loud.
I know the scene.
Vampire.
Go with a note 4. Yes, you threw her down the well in your backyard. She drowned. After a few days, you confessed to your mom, Rosalind. A few days later, she dropped you off with me. She never visited. Why did you do it, Amelie? Why, if it caused you such pain? Your home life seems so troubled. But Mom wasn't the one to throw the cat down the well, was she? Brain cells don't replace themselves so rapidly, I'm afraid. They've been piloting a mostly different skin sac. The one thing calling the shots was still you. I already failed you once, this time I'm doing the right thing, the painful thing. You become so upset when I try to explain this to you. I like you better quiet. I didn't tell you anything you didn't already know, nothing that you didn't already feel. Do you really want to spend your whole life not accepting what really happened? Put your hand in your pocket. Feel that lump living rent-free in your pocket? Run your fingers around the head, the matted torso, misshapen limbs. Get a good feel for the knotted scar tissue that formed around the brain splinter. Doesn't he feel less powerful now? It's screaming right now, trying to protect you from this truth, but I won't let it. Not This time. Can't tell you that, Amelie. No one can tell you how to live with yourself. I can tell you what to do next. Throw that doll into the pneumatic line. There's a portal in the bathroom. Put it in, close the hatch, send it away. I don't know, but I do know you can't go any further with him. The tumor has gotten too large. Your other neural regions are about to burst from the pressure. Shield is gone. Your heart is going to burst like a glass flower. Shards will end up in your other organs. It's going to sting. Oh no, Jasper!
Oh no! Jasper!
You take one last good look at Jasper. Expression is tortured, face that's screaming but completely mute. Do you want to say goodbye to Jasper?
In a nice way.
I know it hurts, but you have to learn how to live again. You will learn in time. Finally cutting off Jasper.
We got rid of Jasper, but we didn't get rid of the rat?
No. You've come to see me so many times, but you've never been able to sever that cord until now. This isn't your first visit, Amelie. You've come to me many times before. Usually running away from Rosalind, or sometimes Julia, or one of the other nurses, but always getting bossed around by that doll. This is not your first time here. No, Amelie, not as a child. Time is fragmented, hard for me to discern. Always, you look as you do now, the same age, the same hair. I've kept memories of you as a child scattered about. That is not who comes to visit. Haven't you wondered how Julia got here? How she came to haunt these halls? You met her host, that poor lump in the room she visited. Well, Angela expires, Julia's trapped here. Afraid, it's the same for you. You always remember some life before you got here. It's a little different every time, but you always think it was real. This is the first time you ever got rid of that doll. This ward is haunted, you know. Kind of a purgatory for people too lonely to die. Scientists here tried to transplant the minds of the old into the bodies of the young. Not sure they always got the direction right. Is he here right now? Is he talking to you presently? Right now, you remember him talking to you, in your memories, just like every other Amelie. Memories can be implanted. Right now is the only thing you really have. That woman, bundled up in the bed across the hall, she's the one you came here to see. Yes, that's Rosalind. I can't be certain, but I think she's your host. If you really want to know what you are, pay her a visit. Yes, then you can know for sure. There's no switch in Rosalind's room. She's on the same circuit as Angela. The electrical wires are in sync with my nerves. I can feel it. Throw the switch in Angela's room and Rosalind will leave us. So will Angela, and so will Julia. Probably. This is the part where I tell you not to pull the plug. Unless, usually you complain and cry and get angry, but ultimately you always listen. I'm not doing that today. I finally managed to toss that moldy doll. It's time for you to decide this for yourself. You know how rare having real power over your life is? It's almost always an illusion. Savor this. Time here is nearly over, Amelie. Bursting like this, it strains the remnants of my nervous system to the brink. About to expire. I won't be around to comfort you during future visits. I'm sorry. My organs are failing, Amelie. You have to find your own way without me. In this life and the next. I'll do one final thing for you. I just disabled the magnets keeping the door locked. You should be able to leave now. Best I can do for you. You're owed so much more. Bye, Amelie. Mechanic breathing that was filling the background has ceased. The warmth that attracted you to the mattress begins to dissipate. The ivory woman is gone. And yes, the rat is still in our pocket, the giant rat. With the key, the stillborn certificate, and the giant rat.
It just so happened that my mom.
Yeah, this is our mom.
It just so happened that the door that we got locked in had our caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me rip your hand off so I can prove you're dead.
You approach Mom and slip your hands into the covers, daring not to look. Feel the protrusions of ribs running underneath your fingertips. Hand glides up to the shoulder blade, runs down the mossy remnants of the arm until you reach the hand. Skin about the wrist tears with almost no effort. The radial and ulnar joint disarticulate with a pop that vibrates your nerves. One more quick yank, the entire hand shears off.
I love that ripping the arm off, ripping the hand off sounds like bubble wrap.
What are you doing here? How did you get out of that room? You should have dealt with you sooner. I just thought it might be good to let you sputter on the ground for a few minutes. Julia rises to apprehend you, seemingly more of a sense of obligation than genuine spite. You don't know that. Her heart is still beating. Parts of her brainstem are still fully intact. She might wake up. She has to wake up. I can't leave until she wakes up. Because I know what Rosalind does to these kids. Can't let Rosalind have her. Already let her have too much. For you to judge, what should I have done? Love a kid that I hated? Angela shouldn't have been born. Please, stop, please. Undo it. Never was. She never was. That little parasite destroyed my body, destroyed my career. I resented her. I never wanted her inside of me. I never wanted a child. I shouldn't have a child. It wasn't my choice. Please, just leave me alone. Rosalind's team was supposed to take care of her. They said they would. She cried and cried when they took her away, but it was for her own good. Their fault I had to carry her in the first place. They just wouldn't let me get rid of her. Rosalind is doing important work in the Corps. She needs subjects. And good she can do if she pulls this off. We're doing those women a favor. Do you know what kind of person ends up at this hospital? They couldn't support another child. All the pregnant women I treated had only convinced themselves that they want their child because they had no other options. Julia heard you. She's staring past you now. She's quiet and solemn. Several agonizing moments of silence rise and fall. Suddenly, Violently, the tension is shattered, and Julia looks right at you. There must be some way to undo it all. Go back to the way things were before. Tell me how to undo it. That's it then? Nothing I can do will ever change it? So all those mothers who went to their graves hating me, there's nothing I can do? All I can do is move on? An alternate won't fix anything. You can't fix anything. You can't just move on. Everyone just tells you to move on. No one actually tells you how to do that. I can't stop thinking about it. I won't stop thinking about it. I don't deserve to stop thinking about it. What I'm really doing is pointless, isn't it? She isn't going to wake up. There's never any hope of her waking up. Julia's gaze drifts. She's looking past you. A few moments she glances at the circuit breaker on her right. Her gaze returns to you. If I flip that breaker, Angel's body will finally cease to function. So will I. And the pain, that's all I can do now. Are you like me? Pull the switch, what happens to you? Can you talk me through it? I don't know what it'll be like after I pull the switch, after I'm gone. We're the rat now!
Oh, we're zooming in.
Zooming.
Jesus Christ.
Well, there's your jump scare, a red screen. And the sound, I guess.
Wiggly's just been waiting this entire time.
Ah, you're back again. Toe feeling any better now that you put a splint around it? Not really. It doesn't look like a toe anymore. But once, everything else is alright. First time, I feel like I'm myself. No one else is pulling strings. I'm glad to hear that. Still feel like going deeper into the city? No, I got what I came here for. Mostly a little disappointed. More beautiful than I remember. From here, at least. I think it's best we leave it be. Ah, I see. Guess you found her, huh? Yes, she was wrapped up in one of the beds down there. Couldn't even see her face, but I knew who it was. I got what I needed from her. And well, I found something else down there too. Something you should see. What's this? My name on the paper. Certificate stating that you were stillborn, issued to your parents. You weren't really an orphan, Paul. You and a lot of other kids were stolen and trafficked. Probably by Rosalind and this other doctor named Tam. I don't really know how to feel about that. I feel upset and angry and hurt. It's fine to feel that way. I took a lot away from you. Just don't do what I did. Move on, don't let it ruin the life you have left. I have an hour or so alone. Just wait here. Be safe if you wait here. I understand this is somewhat unprofessional request, but I just need a bit of time to myself. This is difficult for me to understand. You have no practice standing up for yourself, do you? Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. But where are you gonna go? I'm just curious. I have a room down in the boilers where I like to cry and smash bottles sometimes. I call it my sad place. It's got a lot of weird pipes and vents that are fun to crawl through. Usually cheers me up, but this time, I don't know. Yeah, sure, go run around there all you need to. I'll just wait right here. I'll enjoy the view. Thanks, I'll be back before the skylight shut off. This view fills me with such life. Tears are flooding my eye sockets. Oh hey, I honestly forgot I had you with me. I'm trying to conserve the life I've been given. This, it makes me swell. I'm being called home. This I can feel. Amelie, I need you to throw me as far as you can.
Oh my god!
I have just this tiny sliver of life left to give the world. I must give it all back before I leave. Want me to toss you off the roof and towards the core?
Alright, let's throw the rat.
I wish this was like a mini game and you have like the gauge. There, I can make it to the river and the current will take me where I need to go. You seem so gung-ho, so thrilled to just exist. Kids from the basement beat you to death, right? How can you live without resenting what they did to you? Some inanimate bits of organic matter were cruel to me. I harbor no resentment over it. You resent lightning for striking you? You ate your own babies. Do you not feel guilty or upset about that, at least? I shouldn't have eaten my babies, but I can't undo it. Rats cannot travel through time. But I know how to live now. Every moment I live in harmony, I do right by them. A few hours, this body and mind will die again, but I will never be dead. Every moment I have, I am alive. I'm not going to waste that. Alright, let's do it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeet!
Eat the rat!
I guess I can just try being alone.
Fade to black.
No red screen with a... Well, that was Sons of Saturn. There was Lawson. That was the developer's name. That was like a good creepy vibe.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. I'm kind of sad I didn't choose to read that note. Oh. Oh, now we're him!
Oh! He's like an epilogue.
Okay. Is he the rat? You look down to find a familiar purple lump clinging to the ground. It's Jasper. He's not in our inventory, though.
Right, to the crying room. Or that was the crying room.
Yes.
Or is he still going to?
Oh. We're putting him to rest here, because I guess he's like a stillborn child. This is where he'll be staying forever, I think. Not as smart as a lot of people who worked here, some of the people who came through, but I see some things clearly. Even when we're just walking through the halls or sitting along the boilers, I feel you worming into me. I feel bad, but I still have time left. I have life. I know that's a lot more than many people ever get, you know? More than most people have right now. Most people are dead forever. Some people didn't treat me kindly. I'm not going to let them take away the rest of what I have. I'm not going to let you take it away either. I brought you here because I'm nice. I thought it seemed like a good spot to rest. I know you mean well. If you aren't coming with me, Amelie's better off without you too. I'm inclined to get home. She might be my last. I hope she's still waiting for me. Goodbye, Jasper.
Aw. I wonder if you'd chosen the other options that... Is that Jasper on the crib?
Maybe.
Is he on the crib before?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the OG footage. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Sons of Saturn.
That was pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. It was interesting. It was thought-provoking. It was atmospheric. I think it was exactly what it set out to be. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I mean, I'm not sure if the choices you make any difference.
I wonder if it would have made a difference with Wiggly.
Maybe.
If you picked more, like, needy questions.
Maybe.
I wonder if Jasper would have...
Made his way back to us.
No, or it would have attached himself to Wiggly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was Sons of Saturn.